fluent drive of the one before. This is Bairstow and almost caught and bowled, and Blind took a beautiful caught and bowled to get rid of Moeen in the last Test match. And look at this push, the bottom hand coming through. Horrible shot.
Did turn a bit. Just offered to straighten a bit. But yeah, I had horrible deja vu there for a minute.
Line again, Bairstow respectfully forward, pushes into the onside.
I was going to say, as a fellow off-spinner, well, slow bowler, shall we say, there's nothing worse than being milked for 3 or 4 runs and over when you have little control over it. You'd rather hit a 4 and have 5 chances at.
Sorry. And Bairstow just pushes back to the next one into the onside, no run.
Yes, you'd rather have them hit a 4 and you have 5 good balls rather than be hit for 4 singles.
Luxury. Bairstow's driving this next one out into the offside, but a single there, or very deep cover. No single taken. 160 for 4. We've had 45 overs, halfway through the day. Would we settle for 320 for 8? Yes, we probably would.
Yeah, I think I'll snap your hand off for that. There's going to be a change. I'll just do some tweets whilst we change. Knuckles says, yeah, it's exactly what Nathan Lyon wants. Desperate batsmen losing their heads against him. Milk the singles, rotate the strike just as you would in the middle of an ODI. And we are up to date.
Marvellous. My fluffy thing is falling off the microphone. I'm going to desperately try and rearrange that. As Aaron comes back in on tweets, and we just have a bit of a shuffle around and rearrange of personnel, really. We've got a change in the bowling as well as a change in the commentary assorted furniture. It's now the right arm scary quick opening bowler replacing the left arm scary quick opening bowler, and his jingle goes a little bit like this.
He once hit keys wet as stumps. He must be good, Josh Hazelwood.
And his first ball into Milan is full and straight and blocked back out up to mid-off, no run. Have we managed to make any sense of the of the DRS review since
not really.
We've been trying in the green room desperately and failing almost
the possibility is, if you think about it, because we don't have the TV commentary on, you normally hear the third umpire give his reasoning or at least talk through something. If we had that, we might have a better understanding.
As Milan drives Hazelwood up to mid-off for no run, I can assure you that pretty much everyone on Twitter and BT are pretty much equally baffled.
He looked. I don't think the dressing room looked pretty baffled.
This is the thing that there was kind of, as far as I can tell, no really satisfactory explanation offered. But I suppose this is one of those things. Look, if you get a bad decision, you get a bad decision. It can happen to anyone. I mean, it's certainly not going to be the series with the most wrongly given out batsman as Hazelwood bounces Milan. It's high and loopy over his head. Payne takes it. Jump.
Yeah, well, we've had the line gate with Mo Ali. We've had
of course.
We've had Snicko gate. I don't know. We've
well,
just had everything.
We had line gate. Crikey, what would it have been?
That was Brisbane.
4 or 5 years ago with Ashton Agar.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Way back when, Australia used to be fun to play against and do silly things like pick crap teenage spinners. Now they pick really good Nathan Lyon-shaped spinners. Nathan Lyon, who looks like the red Angry Bird when he appeals as Hazelwood dabs, Milan dabs Hazelwood square on the offside for no run. It's been a relatively sedate over this from Hazelwood. He's not really troubled Milan in any way, shape or form on his return. He's not massively up to pace yet, but I'm sure that'll come fairly soon. How are we looking on tweets?
One of the key questions we're wondering is, dear at Facebook, could you please provide a rational legal reason for banning at Guerilla Cricket from Facebook Live? Snowstorm Sticky Belly.
And while you're at it, can we have a rational, reasonable reason for giving Mark Stoneman out.
Yeah, both would be live. Mark Zuckerberg, get back to us.
Both would be wonderful. You know, technology Zuckers as Milan leaves Hazelwood through to Payne. He's only bowling about 84 mile an hour here. This isn't, it's not express stuff from Hazelwood.
Well, I think the spell at Stoneman where he really went hard at him when he was bowling in the 88 miles an hour area, that takes it out of you. And if you just make
absolutely.
people coming back, people bowling those spells, keep them coming back, it gets easier. It does get easier, and it's just trying to get through that spell where he's obviously coming at you, bowling quick, which you thought Hazelwood normally operates around 84, but the earliest spell when I was on comms, he was bowling at 88, 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's certainly a much quicker bowler than much that England have got, and that one does have a bit more zip on it, and Milan sways away from the shorter balls. It goes through to Payne to complete a maiden over. I think, I don't know, yeah. It's one of those things that makes it slightly more baffling that Mitchell Marsh hasn't been bowled yet. And I know I keep coming back to him every time I'm on air, but it's one of those where you'd kind of like to see what a bowler of what you might call a more average pace can do on a track like this, because I think it'll give quite a big hint as to how England's bowlers will be able to perform. Maybe Premier racist fast bowler Craig Overton could get a little bit more bounce out of it than, say, Jimmy Anderson. He got some lift in the second test, but
I think Stuart Broad, the enforcer, needs to kind of come out again.
Yeah, absolutely. As Lyon comes into Bairstow, just turns him in front of square on the onside. They scamper through for a single. England move on to 161 for 4 from 63.1 overs. Milan on 32 and Johnny Bairstow on 10. I meant to put a jingle request earlier and I got distracted. But on the basis that Mark Stoneman's nickname is, or Mark Stoneman is known as Rocky Stoneman, as Milan blocks Lyon into the offside, could we have something along the lines of Rocky Balboa's Adrian thing, but Alistair, for Alistair Cook, his opening partner? just a little one I just want to throw out, because I know there's a lot of creative people out there in our Twitter sphere. If we could have that by the end of the test, that'd be magnificent, as Milan just plays Lyon comfortably out into the offside for no run. He's got back quite a long way to him there.
Lyon is getting that bounce.
I mean, that's the one thing Lyon does better than possibly any other off-spinner in the world, and that one, Milan comes down the track and steers him up to mid-on. They take a single.
He's get a lot of, the bounce is obviously caused by the actual revs he imparts on the ball, and he's just grown into his role, isn't he? He's grown into this Australian side. Everyone at the start of his career didn't think he was, up to much, and he's obviously grown into.
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of it, I think, is the overspin that he puts on the ball, and that one's just outside leg stump really to Bairstow, and it's uglily worked out into the side for no run. Uglily? That doesn't come out of the mouth very well. It was poor bowling, poor batting, and reasonably average commentary. As Lyon comes in to complete the 47th over, that one's better, more on the stumps from Lyon. It's just turned out to the man at short leg by Bairstow, and England finished the over 162 for 4.
Dirk from Work says on Twitter, looking forward to your explanation of the evidence that led to this decision being made at Facebook. I hope there's more to it than corporate snuggling.
Corporate snuggling?
Yeah.
Is that where you kind of wear a full suit in bed? And just
Yeah.
There's probably a market for it. Dear. So, I suppose in a lot of ways, Australia kind of doing what England did in the last test, in that they're taking wickets at regular intervals. They're not letting England get away very far, but they're not taking the wickets in clusters, which can be a positive thing for the batting side, as Hazelwood strays onto Milan's legs there, and it's just clipped away through mid-wicket. I think they'll take 2, possibly. I think they've come back for a third there. Milan moves on to 36, and England's score moves on to 165 for 4.
Milan's looked good this innings. He's been comfortable. He's played the short ball well, and he's actually, timed the ball well, as that one off his legs he just did there. Again, now he becomes England's key man as Johnny Bairstow comes in. Can he establish that partnership? Because as we've seen before the last couple of tests, the the ominous collapse, is can be on the cards with our lower order.
It's never too far away, and it's something we've seen in a lot of recent Test series, is that England, even from relatively strong positions, have a habit of suddenly falling away very rapidly in the kind of middle to late order as Hazelwood bowls and Bairstow just plays it back to him for no run. And there is a man in a mask. Or, nope, that's a woman in a mask.
A woman in a man's mask.
I'm going to refrain from commenting on any more spectators in case I get myself into trouble.
Who's the mask? Is that
Prince Andrew.
Is that Prince Andrew? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sunglasses under a mask, that's one way to do it. Here is Johnny Bairstow with his gloriously unmarked, unsponsored bat. Faces up to Josh Hazelwood for the third ball of the over, and Hazelwood's in. It's played up to the man short on the offside. There is no run, at the risk of sounding very, very knackle. And there's more. There are more royals in the
there
crowd.
Are royals in the crowd. It's
and that time it's
very on theme, isn't it?
Man in a woman's mask. The Queen. Heard of her? I know what she looks like. He's doing a very regal one. What's that football shirt he's wearing? I feel like I should know that.
Looks like an old Watford kid, but I don't think it is.
No,
it's an away shirt for somebody.
Yeah, as Hazelwood comes in, right arm over the wicket, slightly back of a length to Bairstow outside the off stump, just blocked up into the offside for no run. Yeah, it's not bad bowling from Hazelwood. It's pretty much on the mark, but it's not as, I mean, as we were saying, it's not as threatening as his earlier spells have been so far.
I mean, I think as we just
yeah,
said,
as we're saying, it's a matter of fatigue.
You can't do that all day. You physically can't do that all day, and
and especially as we're moving into the last 10, 20 minutes of this session. Yeah, they've been out in the it's not belting heat, but it's quite warm out there as Bairstow drives up to the man up mid off. They don't take a runny, if anything, hit that too well.
If we remain 4 down up till tea and then an hour past tea, then the last hour could be fruitful for us, where we get ourselves in a good position. As David Warner starts getting into the English batsman again.
David Warner, bit chirpy. Can't see it. Come on and bowl some leg spin shorter. Give us some fun.
He's a reformed family man now.
Is he?
I always love how's his brother getting on with the scapegoat.
Oh, that was fantastic. And that was a fuller ball from Hazelwood. A real driving length to Bairstow, and he did drive it. And the man at short cover fielded it very, very well indeed. To end the 48th over without a run, diving away to his right. That's England 165 for 4. Milan on 36 and Bairstow on 10. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, Hazelwood's been fairly tight, but...
This looks like a period where Australia are trying to hold the game a little bit with Lyon and Hazelwood on. Rev up. We might see a Mitchell Marsh with the ball sighting a little bit before tea, possibly.
How good would that be?
Yeah, with a little sight just to get another bowler and try something different, and then rev up Stark and Cummins and a little bit of Hazelwood after tea. But I was actually surprised he didn't bowl before tea. It was good to start a chance for him to have a bowl, and him not bowling in 2 sessions is an interesting.
Yeah, it's an odd one that you bring. And I know, as you're saying, he's scoring runs in Shield cricket, so he's being brought in primarily as a batsman. But it is odd to bring in a man who is ostensibly an all-rounder, and you're 40, nearly 50 overs into the game, and he's not bowled a ball yet. As Lyon bowls one that pitches just outside off and barely straightens on Milan.
His contribution is he's dropped a catch.
Yeah,
and I would have thought that would be a good way to get him in the game would be with the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And he's as Lyon again. That one gets a bit more up on Milan. He goes back to it and just plays it back down the track. I think as we were saying off there, I don't know what it says about what the Australians think of this pitch, that they don't think they're kind of early 80-mile-an-hour bowler's really going to get anything worthwhile out of it. And what that says for England, as Milan comes forward and covers up the third ball of the over from Nathan Lyon.
But the England boys are desperate not to lose another wicket before tea here.
Yeah, I think so.
The couple of dances down the wicket from Milan have just stopped, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're not really attacking some mildly innocuous stuff from Milan as from Hazelwood as Milan jabs his bat down on that one from Nathan Lyon. Yeah, it's almost a lull at this point, which was Milan this time does dart down the tractor line, but just plays a sensible defensive shot back to the bowler. And this over is going to be over in about 20 seconds start to finish. What happens when the batsmen don't actually hit the ball off the square or anywhere near that? That is the last ball ever.
Should I do the lull
run.
jingle?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in
And indeed, in lull we are, but it's not a bad lull for England. You'd be quite happy to just let the game kind of meander on for the next 15 minutes or so. Maybe
And
if you're
here
lucky,
is our-
pick up 5 runs, and there is the man himself. For the first time in this Test series, we're going to have his jingle.
It's a long one.
It's a long. Well, there's a shorter one directly underneath it, so we can
okay, I'll
we
do
can
the
go for that
shorter
one
one.
first, and then at the end of his over, we'll have the long one.
Okay.
It's this man.
Why are the selectors always picking me?
Because your name's Mitch Marsh and you look funny.
Why are the selectors always picking me?
Your batting at 6 is a tragedy.
Why are the selectors always picking me?
James Faulkner finds this a bad comedy.
Why are the selectors always picking me?
You paid the selectors a truckload of money.
And that first ball is just back of a leg on Bairstow's body, and he blocks it down the track for no run. Welcome back to Test match cricket, Mitchell Marsh, you absolute waste of a human being.
That's harsh.
Well, yeah,
Harsh.
maybe a little harsh, but yeah, how many Marshes do we actually need?
I'm sure there's room for another one in there.
Is there? We need another one desperately, as he turns out the top of his mark and comes down to Johnny Bairstow, the 50th over, and that is full floaty filth on Bairstow's legs. It was a shin-high full toss turned into the leg side, down to square leg. They take the easiest single. That's why he hasn't bowled before.
Yeah.
Mate, you're bowling filth. Mate, disgusting. Filth. Mate, you're bowling filth.
I've got to say, as a Surrey player, and as my Surrey teammate next year, I'm going to defend him.
Well, someone has to.
Honey Badger Cricket, at Guerilla Cricket, sounding good, lads. Tuning in from New Zealand, so hello.
Hiya.
Hello, hello, hello. The land of Ben Stokes, and that one's a nice full half volley outside off stump, which is driven backward of square by Milan. They take the single. It was quite a nice shot, but he didn't quite get all of it. And the man, I think Nathan Lyon out of their fielding at point, came round and.
Well, even he's bowling
cleaned up.
85 miles an hour.
Yeah, still quicker than what pretty much all of England's bowlers have got in the locker, which is a damning indictment on so many levels. That's a nice enough ball. Yeah, he's not quite got all of that. For some reason, someone is out replying me and saying average is 97 on this tour, mate. As that one, Bairstow flicks off his legs in front of square on the leg side. They take another single. I am suddenly feeling very, very bad about England's chances of bowling Australia out in this Test match. They'll probably get their lines and their lengths a little better than Marsh is doing in his first over. And look, he's getting the radar in place. I'm not going to absolutely slay a man's bowling just from one over of looseness, even if a Test match bowler shouldn't really be bowling a full over of looseness. It's none of my business. Milan, that is a better ball, the 5th of the over, goes through
I feel-
outside off stump, and Milan just leaves it comfortably.
I feel with our bowling, it's the tall bowlers who we need something. The Overtons, the Broad, who are going to get the most out of the pitch, and if they're on, they need to be on song, and if they are, then it'll provide life difficult for the batters because of the extra bouncy. And this Perth pitch is responsive in that respect, so they need to be on point. Whether they can be, that's a question for tomorrow.
This
I
is what
suppose,
you want,
but
kind of 2013, 2014 era Steve Finn, where that
yes.
first spell's coming through at nearly 90, coming down from 6-7 as the last ball of the over again, a decent one from Marsh, just back of a length outside off, and Milan leaves it through to Tim Payne for no run. We've seen Mitchell Marsh in this game do something that isn't drop a catch, so that's nice. That'll be nice for him. Be nice for his dad. Be nice for his mum.
not a bad start. Not a bad start from a Surrey man.
Well, I mean, it was a bad start. He
No.
bowled a shin high full toss second
Well,
ball.
second ball, yeah.
But he got better.
from
He
then.
got
better.
better.
From then.
Yeah,
Back his legs back from then.
Can only improve, and we wonder if it was tempting fate with that filth jingle.
Yeah, maybe a
Is,
little bit. Right, so that's 50 overs gone. That's a full one-day international innings. England on 168 for 4. Should be 168 for 3, but Mark Steinman was horribly sawn off by the third umpire, having been given not out on the pitch.
And we are still talking about it, yes.
And we will continue to do so. Johnny Bairstow is on 12 not out from 28 balls. He'll be facing up to Nathan Lyon.
Funny, Nicholas
Start
Mills
51st over.
says at Guerilla Cricket, let's assume the third umpire's found guilty of being a twat. What will happen to him apart from lynching from the British media?
He'll be banned from Facebook. As Nathan Lyon bounds in, and that one's a bouncy one, but outside off. It doesn't really come in much to Johnny Bairstow, and it's left alone.
But I mean, we were talking before. Jason was saying, that there's only 12 elite umpires. 8 of them are English or Australian, so he leaves 4 that you can use. But why not use one English umpire, one Australian umpire?
Yeah.
Well, there is that as Lyon comes in, and Bairstow just presses on it outside the off stump, and there's no run. And the withered husk that used to be Jeffrey Boycott is commentating on BT right now. We're being shown that, along with
Withered husk.
the withered husk that used to be. And
English institution right there.
yeah, well, English institutions are going very, very well worldwide right now. As Bairstow pushes Milan up to cover for no run. Next to Ricky Ponting, who is single-handedly keeping Australian boot polish manufacturers in business with his hair. I've got a jab for everyone.
You have got a jab for everyone.
It comes with the territory, and that one's fuller from line. And it dips and swerves nicely in the air before it drops on about middle and off. Bairstow comes forward and covers up, and there's no run.
Well, just to the umpires, it's now such a lucrative career. I don't understand why you couldn't.
Why there aren't more genuinely good umpires?
Oh yeah.
Well, there is that, as that one is again comfortably outside off stump from Lyon, and Bairstow lets it go through to Tim Payne. I think Alim Dar's beard could probably umpire one end by itself. It's
You
basic.
have got a jab for even umpires.
No,
Umpires getting
that's
jabs.
that's not a jab. I love Alim Dar's beard. I think it's fantastic. But I think at this point it is probably almost sentient, as Bairstow covers Lyon up outside off stump.
So with you, Aaron, are you have any interest in being an umpire, or are there any guys in the Surrey team that
No, I
are
don't-
thinking that way?
I don't think so. I think that officiating, you start from kind of early. You make that decision if you wanted to go into officiating, 30-ish, and guys are too young and thinking about their careers, or they're looking to go into coaching or something like that. So I think umpiring is. I haven't actually heard anyone. There's someone I know actually, the former Leicester off spinner, Jigger Nike.
Oh, yes,
Him,
yeah.
He of
becoming
the infamous spoonerism on air.
Oh, good news. We're on YouTube, apparently.
We're on YouTube live now. I assume you can just search Guerilla Cricket and we'll come up eventually.
Yeah, because Jigger Knight's been playing for Dorset, I think.
Has he?
Yeah.
Has he actually?
He's
Right.
doing very well for
And
them.
he's qualifying as an umpire as well. now.
Okay.
So that's one guy that I know that's definitely pursuing it as a career.
And
But
Mark-
it's like, international cricket, international umpiring is a lucrative.
Oh
lucrative
yeah, it
career,
absolutely
and,
is. A lot of time away.
Yeah, a lot of time away, but it's well received profession. I think they're treated pretty well. It's But it has with everything is error, isn't there? Unfortunately.
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's especially it's such fine margins here. I mean, you're looking at predicting the exact trajectory of a ball from 20 yards away to within millimetres. It's incredibly hard to do as the second ball of Mitchell Marsh's second over just nips past the outside edge of David Milan. He doesn't look too perturbed by it. We just see it on the replay. He'd probably argue that he played inside it. I'm not entirely sure that he did. He just kind of pressed forward, and that was not far away from the outside edge.
Mitchell bowling nicely.
It was a very nice ball and a slightly unconvincing press forward from David Milan, and possibly the shot of a man who's playing for tea, which is not necessarily something England are going to be overly thrilled by at the moment. And as that one comes through with zip and zing on it from Mitchell Marsh,
At 87.2 miles an hour.
yeah, up past 87 mile an hour. It goes through to Payne outside the off stump, but he's starting to get properly ping him through here.
He has the ability to do so. When I first watched him in one-day cricket, he'd definitely do that. Then he settled more into that all-rounder kind of role, doing both. And but yeah, he can get it through when he bends his back, definitely.
It's one of those things you see in maybe it feels like it is particularly in Australian seam bowling all-rounders, is that the more they play the all-rounder role rather than just a bowler, the kind of the slower they get as that one's driven up to the man at mid-off by Milan for
Bowling's
no run.
hard work.
Yeah, oh, believe me, I know.
Bowling's hard work. I've
Indeed.
got one tweet from Chris Waller. If the Aussie selectors are so obsessed with having an all-rounder, why not Agar? At least he can restrict the flow of runs. What do you think about that?
I'd love to see Ashton Agar back in an Ashes team, but not because I think he'd improve the contest for the Australians. Marsh comes in for the fifth ball of the over to Milan, and that one's again just driving a line mile outside off stump.
Well, the Australians
Left
also
through.
like Stoinis, don't they? They really think highly of him.
I think they think
Yeah.
a lot of him as a limited overs player. I'm not sure he's ready for the big time in tests.
Yeah, in Test cricket, yeah.
But that's certainly going to be an option going forward.
Yeah.
I know Moises Enriquez is playing more and more as a batsman rather than an all-rounder of late, the last few years. And again, he always kind of seemed more prominent in the limited overs forms of the game. He was a very, very good T20 player for a couple of years there around the franchise, especially in the IPL. And the last ball of Marsh's over strays onto David Milan's legs, and he is pinged off beautifully through mid-wicket. The fielder dives. He put the dive in probably 2 steps too early. Doesn't quite get to it. Him and the ball were kind of racing, sliding along the turf on their respective stomachs. Do balls have stomachs? Not sure, but it's gone away for one of these. That's a nice way to end what was not necessarily the easiest of overs from David Milan.
As usual, David has got great timing.
Yes.
He times it very naturally, and he's an elegant player to watch when he gets going. So it's actually he got 40 with it. You haven't really noticed him kind of getting them. He's just played some lovely cover drives, a couple of flicks off his left, and he's 41 off 66. So looking good for England.
Looking, reasonably good for England, who sit on 172 for 4 after 52 overs. The field has more or less gone out from Australia now. There's just the one slip in place and a short leg for Nathan Lyon as Johnny Bairstow just dabs that behind that short leg, and the man at fine leg comes up, or maybe backward square comes up, and fields they dash through for a single. I would give you the rest of the field, but I can't see it, so you just have to basically you'll get what you get, and I'll do my best. We're just getting a replay of that shot from Milan off Mitchell Marsh, which really was very, very well timed. Just pretty much just leant on it, and it just raced away. I mean, I know that's a bit of that's Perth, but a lot of that's the timing. As Lyon comes in for the second ball of the over, it's played nicely out to the man at point.
I've seen it firsthand. It's not just Perth. That's what he does.
That's just
that's just how he
Milan,
plays.
yeah.
You've been
on
at sort of
every
short
wicket.
leg for
Well,
that position.
extra cover, short
Yeah.
leg, backward point. It's hit it past me plenty of times.
Wherever he puts it right. There's a man at backward point. There's a man at extra cover. There's a man at mid off for Johnny Bairstow as Lyon comes in, and he's lent on that one up to the man at long
A nice little partnership forming.
on. Well, that's what England have done really in this test. That they have been. Everyone's really got a start except maybe Alistair Cook. Wickets, much as England took them in the last test, wickets haven't fallen in clusters. Certainly in the first innings of the last test, they haven't fallen in clusters, but they've fallen at reasonably regular intervals once batsmen have got set, as Milan just plays back to Lyon for no run.
Yeah, it's been competitive. Not like the last time we were here.
Absolutely.
In Australia.
I think I was saying earlier, it's one of those the last Ashes series. It was 3-2, so it's in theory you'd say a tight series, but none of those games were remotely competitive. There was 5 incredibly one-sided games.
Yeah.
That ended in a close series. This could very well be 5 very tight games.
Might end up 5-0.
That ends up 5-0 exactly as that one
Or even the
starts and remains outside leg from
Ashes in
his block backer.
2013 was 3-0, and again, you know what was the first test was 10 runs, the margin of victory for England. At Chester Street, that test, I think it was about 60 runs. but
Yeah,
it
that was a very competitive series, and that one Milan tries to flick Lyon against the spin, backward of square on the leg side, and the short leg's done a very, very good job of getting in the way of that one. Grinning under his helmet.
Hannah Forsyth says at Guerilla Cricket, a sorry man admiring Milan's batting is music to my ears. I appreciate good batting.
England end the 53rd over 175 for 4, and they don't just end the 53rd over, they end the second session because of that, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else, is tea. 84 runs in the session. From the 26 overs, 2 wickets. You'd probably say this is more or less in the balance. You'd probably want maybe 400 runs in the first innings to say you ended it definitively on top. But England are absolutely in with a chance of that. Bairstow playing a couple of nice shots. Milan looking very, very much on top of his game and on top of the bowling. And bye-bye. And yeah, England will be happy with their work in that session.
Yeah, precarious middle part, but these two have kind of rebuilt nicely. And with batting to come, if we can get past that score past 350 here, then we're way in, and a position where hopefully we can kind of put the foot down on Australia, reverse the role of pressure, which we've been on the receiving end of.
And now, speaking on the receiving end, now if you're in the Australian dressing room now at tea, how are you?
Well, I'm
looking at this?
I'm thinking of going back to Cutter, Stark, and Cummins. I think you might the new ball's 80 overs, so there's the planning for that. But I would be very tempted to go with a short, sharp spell from both them, really aggressive at England, then hold as long as you can, wait for that second new ball, and then go and then again go and the ebb and flow of Test cricket, you've got to have that kind of time for those guys to kind of recover and be able to bowl with the new ball fresh. So yeah, I would go for a nice short, sharp spell, maybe four overs each from Stark and Cummins, with Hazelwood, or whichever Steve Smith thinks is going to be his wicket-taking combo, and then backward to Lyon and Marsh for a little bit to take them up to the new ball, and then go again, I think. And
you still feel like you're very, very much in this. England certainly haven't gotten away yet.
No, they haven't. But I feel like, again, they'll be well aware of Bairstow and Milan that their best the best 2 bowlers probably will be bowling them at them after tea, because they're going to want those wickets. So they've both got a partnership, so they want to blast one of them away.
Is this where we put thoughtful looks on our faces and say crucial half hour?
No, I think with our innings is so far in the series, top 6 have all been kind of crucial half hours. I mean, everyone's been a crucial partnership because we've kind of the tail's been blown away. So it's just as crucial as every other of the partnerships we've had over the last 4 hours of cricket.
Every half hour is crucial if you lose 3 wickets.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this will be. Well, Steve Smith will look to his 2 most. He should look to his 2 most threatening bowlers here after tea to come out Milan and Bairstow, maybe the bit more short stuff.
And if you're looking at this kind of situation as a kind of middle order batsman coming in here, do you look to essentially sit back and just survive those bowlers, or do you
No.
try and keep the scoreboard ticking
I think-
over?
I
You
think
try
you've
and
gotta have
rotate,
a
you try and
plan.
actually score.
I think you've got to have a plan to score. I think the best players of any bowling, short pitch spin bowling, quick, medium pace, they'll have a plan to score. If you start to think about survival, you're not in the right mindset, and the Aussies will keep coming at you. They've shown that so far this series. You've got to have a plan to kind of counteract it, whether it's taking it on, whether it's ducking and waiting for something to be full. You know, with the quick bowling, whether it's taking line on and feel like you're getting the scoreboard moving with line. I think you've got to have a plan to score. And I think that if we go nowhere, it puts a lot of pressure on the batsman coming in, and also the other end. If someone is putting someone, there's a period of pressure where there's a lot of dot balls.
Sure.
The scoreboard's not going nowhere, and if you put 2 wickets on that scoreboard, when say 175 for 4 becomes 180 for 6 because we've gone nowhere for half an hour, and all of a sudden the game's kind of well in Australia's favour. So
Yeah.
you've got to have a plan to score, I think, and that's key for England.
If we take it away from this test slightly,
Yes.
obviously you're popping off to Surrey training after this.
I am.
What's the? Are we starting to think about next season already? What's the?
Yeah,
what are we looking
we
at?
are. We are starting. We've planned. Works very hard. We've got a new strength and conditioning coach, Darren Vaness, who's actually from Somerset originally. Has come in and he's working with the boys and doing a lot of stuff. This pre-Christmas block is a big fitness block, as it's kind of the modern game now. We're in kind of 4 times a week, 2 sessions a day. People are just planning towards what they're going to do after Christmas, whether they're going away, whether on pre-season tour, whether they're going to play some, great cricket or South African club cricket. So that'll be, those conversations will be happening, and then we kind of meet in March for a week of pre-season, and we might be on a pre-season tour. So, and then all of a sudden, the season is like.
So how
around
many,
the corner.
How many of you are around at the minute?
At
Because
the moment,
obviously
there's
you've got
about 10 of
people
us. Away with the
England.
Lions, and
Yeah.
a couple of people playing T20s in Wellington, and Jason's with the Big Bash. So there are people away and have responsibilities. There's about 10 of us at the moment. 10 of us. It's quite a nice group as well, because sometimes when you have like the full 20 of us in, or 22 or whatever, it can get a little bit. You get especially because we've got finite space in the indoor school and in the gym, it can get a bit crowded.
You get lost in the wash a bit.
You get lost. Yeah, you do get lost in the wash. Where it's different when you're outside, obviously, because of the space. Yeah, we will gather together. I think we'll just kind of plan for after Christmas to when we're going to be in, how much skill work we're going to do now, because that's when it flips after Christmas. You start doing your skills, batting, bowling, fielding. And there's more of an emphasis on that leading into the season. So yeah.
Do you have a net each day, or is it you're
After
pretty
Christmas,
much
yeah,
sitting on
pretty
the
much, yeah.
fitness at the minute?
No, today this block is basically all fitness. People
Okay.
are doing a little bit of like remedial bowling work. They want to change a little bit to their action, or they want to change something to their batting. They'll do some remedial stuff. It will be very kind of slow paced, getting kind of movement patterns right. But then after Christmas, it'll just completely ramp up, and you'll do your kind of more match specific stuff.
Is there any particular? Are you looking to get away a little, Phil bat on ball in a
Yeah,
competitive setting
I
after
have done the
Christmas?
last 5 years. I've done either Australia or Cape Town, or done something. But this year I've recently just got married, so
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I think I wanted to stay this winter, just because I didn't want to just be like, oh, we're married and then I'm just going to be off for 6 months. See ya. Which I thought would be a bit harsh. But what I'm planning to do is go pop over to India, actually.
Okay.
So there's some cricket academies there, and with the IPL our IPL preparation ramping up over there, there's a lot of good training camps and cricket camps there, and there's one specifically that Surrey kind of linked with that I will be there for like 10-12 days. So yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good preparation, because you're going to bat outside and get bat against bowlers, and hopefully play a couple of games as well.
And speaking of the IPL, are we looking at how's the kind of limited overs? It's far too late / early in the morning. How's the limited overs calendar looking
It might.
immediate and long term?
I mean, the 50 over stuff, not 2020 stuff. 2020 is something that I've never been particularly brilliant at.
Not so much a slogger.
No, not known for my 2020. As you can see, not known for my 2020 big power hitting, as I said
Yeah,
on the
sure.
last stint. So that's never been like too much. Obviously, I'll play if guys need me to, and I'm happy to do so. But it's something that I'm not well known for, and I've never have been. So the 50 over stuff and 4-day cricket, I'm still hoping to be heavily involved. And but with Surrey, as you guys know, it's a big squad and a very and a good one. So how much I play and it's depending on kind of form and all that kind of thing. Kind of selection issues that arise during the course of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I suppose in a way, the fact that you are going to be kicking around for most of the winter is, if anything, maybe a little bit of a bonus. Kind of keep yourself in the coach's mind if there's anything that they particularly think you need to work on.
Exactly,
then you're very much in the right place to
It's
do
the right
that.
place to do it. Yeah. Bit more contact time. Sometimes I've been away for kind of 3-4 months. And kind of lose sight, but yeah, no. Hopefully, staying around, and working on something we can see a bit of progress will stand me in good stead for the start of the season.
Sure, we've got some tweets coming through over there. Are any of those for?
Well, it's mainly to do with our kind of unceremonious dumping off Facebook Live, but Spangly Sai says Facebook reinstate Guerilla cricket feed. They were doing nothing illegal.
Well, not on the Guerilla cricket feed anyway.
Yeah, then I've missed the kind of conversation, but Justin Emery says, do the Aussies even know that IPA exists?
Good question. Not sure.
Not sure.
Well, look, if we've got any, we've got, as I think we can see from the number of people still paying attention and still tweeting in, we've got. Yeah,
hashtag Stonegate now going with Steve
hashtag
Kellett.
Stonegate, goodness me. Right, you are all listening. If you've got any questions for Aaron while he's here, do tweet him in because I mean it's your best chance to ask him. He's not going to be able to answer him when he's not here.
So tell us, Aaron, sort of players that you're excited to see in the county game. Is there someone out there that you played against or played with that hasn't got any sort of England or Lions recognition
Well, talking
yet?
about playing with, there's a guy on the tour, Ben Folkes, is I think a high quality cricketer. And I genuinely think he's the best clubman in the country. And he's a good batter as well. So I'd be interested to see how he's done okay so far. He's got some runs in one of the tour games. And I'd be interested to see how he goes in Test cricket. Just because I think he's a good player.
Do you think he could just play as a batsman if
I
Bairstow kept the gloves?
I think that he'd have to rejig the side. I don't think he would play. I don't think he would play as a batsman. I think he's good enough to play as a batsman. I don't think that he would play as a batsman in that side. If he played, he'd have the gloves, and Bairstow would play as a batter. Is I think what England would be more comfortable with doing. I think he's good enough to. I don't think England will view him as that. The other, we're back out.
Are we back out already?
Seemed like a very, very good tea break.
20 minutes of flow by.
Surprises me.
Should we get some?
That's. I mean, it's not been 20 minutes. It's been 10 at most. Is this? Are we being shown replays? Kind of doesn't look like we are. Because of that is Mitchell Stark coming into bowl to Johnny Bairstow, who sways. It is tea. It was a replay.
Yes. Tricked us.
We've been.
I thought I'd been talking for so long here about the upcoming county season.
We've been shenaniganed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Ben Folkes very much.
Yeah.
He was one of those when Surrey kind of had every single wicket keeper in the country
at once. Yeah. We had top 5 full of wicket keepers. Yeah. But in terms of opposition, I'm trying to think of who. I'm trying to think of who really impressed. Anyone stand out to you in county cricket last year? I've heard a lot of good things about Joe Clark. I haven't seen much of him play, but heard a lot of good things about him.
The innings that impressed me the most was I was down at Hampshire and they were playing Lancashire and Alex Davis.
That's exactly who I was about to say.
Really good 98.
Right.
Hamid was at the other end, just sort of blocking and struggling for form, but Davis really impressed.
Well. He's on the Lions trip, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I thought I would have liked him as an outside shout for the senior squad.
Oh, really?
For this Ashes Test, I think he's got 1,000 county runs last season.
Yeah.
He's looked absolutely wonderful while doing it, and in a season where Lancashire's batsmen, by and large, did have a difficult time. Hamid had a.
I was watching him play there, and I just thought everyone's been talking about the wrong Lancashire opener.
I absolutely think so. went up to see the Lancashire Surrey game at the end of the season. He's a very, very impressive young player.
Well, I feel like the thing with Hamid is he had such a good year the year before, played so well, and then took Test cricket really well in India. It was like he is kind of going to be our next guy, our next cook.
Yeah. And I very much think he can and possibly
could
will
possibly
still
be. But then that injury, obviously, I think that was worse than people first, made that out to be. I mean, he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to play the next Test match," and I think that was a serious injury. And whether, having your finger operated on as he did, isn't something, especially as a batter.
Yeah,
You
you
need
need
your hands.
You need your hands.
You need your
yeah.
hands. It's not an easy thing, and if you've got that in the back of your mind, and you get out for legs early on in April, a couple of nick-offs, you have that in the back of your mind, it could be a difficult county season.
Yeah,
You see that spirals into, a lack of form. So it's funny how
when the wickets start quickening up, then you're going to get more short stuff, and then you're going to be thinking about, I imagine, protecting that finger.
Yeah, that finger, which is So I think he's got time, and he's so young still. We were impressed with him when we played against Surrey because he had a bit of fight, had technique, and obviously showed that in Test cricket. There's still time for him to improve. He's not like a lost cause by any stretch.
No,
God, no, he's still about 12 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a good player, but I'm trying to think of who else I've heard good things about. Joe Clark's definitely one. Another seamer from Worcester, Josh Tong. I've heard good things about him. I was glad to see actually Craig Overton get a call up because I think he's been a kind of for Somerset. I was speaking to Tom Abel, Somerset's captain last year, and he was saying that he's been brilliant for them, just brilliant, bowling all their overs, bowling at the key times, key runs as well. So that kind of do it all cricketer, good fielder as well, but chance for him to kind of show his skills on the Test arena. So county cricket has got a lot of good players now. It's just a case of it's not like. I know a lot of people try to bag county cricket, but there's some very good players out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge county cricket fan. Watch as much as I can, and I love how competitive it is. You saw that with Division 1 last year. Obviously, Surrey, you finished quite high up despite not winning many games. The relegation battle went all the way.
Well, especially with the tier 7 teams in Div
8 teams
in Div 1 this year. Up 2 down. It means every game's kind of vital. There was a tweet there.
Yeah, there's a tweet there from Nakul Pandey who's kind of asking you around what kind of realistic expectations for Surrey are around the various competitions this season.
We finished 3rd this year in the Championship, and I think realistic expectations to be to win it. Really, we've grown under Michael Divenuto. Every season we've got a little bit better. We have to be. Obviously, the loss of Sank Kumar is huge.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much is that of a loss is that going to be? Not just in the batting lineup, but around the club.
It's a massive loss. He's a phenomenal player, phenomenal person, and also a great guy to have around in the dressing room we have with a lot of young players, and an old kind of steady hand. Obviously, class player, but like a steady, constant presence as a person. That'll be a loss, but I think that if you're being realistic, you've got to, if you finish better than you did last year, you've got to be trying to be competing, I suppose, in the Championship. So realistic expectations is to try and win the Championship this year. So I will leave it with that.
I'll leave it with that as we're being
laughed off by Middlesex fans.
As we're being hooked. Actually, just in that case, just a sentence each on. You mentioned the limited overs, the 50 over stuff.
Yeah. 50 over stuff.
We're looking for knockout. Solid knockout performance.
Again and again, and get to final stage in T20, and anything can happen. I think that's those. You get to those quarter-final, semi-final stages of any competition, just get yourself through the group. The South group's always been notoriously kind of difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
In both forms, just see if you can get through that group, and if you can, then finals days on 50 over cricket, or quarter-finals and semi-finals and 50 over cricket, and finals day in T20 cricket can be good occasions.
And on that we depart for the new crew coming in for the final session of the day. Tony's on jingles, Not Freddy's coming in on ball by ball, and I'll leave Tony to waffle.
And England and Mitchell Shark just got a good kick from Fred there on the way through.
Well deserved.
Oh, well, I was about to say, was it in anger?
Well done, chaps, for chatting your way through tea.
Very much so.
I hope you all enjoyed that. There was some dissection. I don't want to discuss this any further, Tony, because I know you got angry about it earlier. The dismissal of Stoneman. I think what we can all agree on is that it having been given not out on the field, there weren't overwhelming grounds to overturn that decision.
No, I think they looked at it from a camera angle that hadn't been available to the umpires, and had technically decided it was probably out, but the umpires hadn't seen that view. Therefore, the third umpire did not have sufficient evidence to overturn it.
Yep, because of the hotspot cameras, the way they're trained, they don't get up that high, so the ball is pretty much out of shot as to exactly whether it hit anything and where it hit. Anyway, they're coming back out after tea. Johnny Bairstow picks up his gloves and his helmet, which had been left on the edge of the outfield to dry. He will be joined by the left-handed David Milan. And they batted. I mean, it was a testing spell when Stoneman got out, but they more or less came through it.
Well, that's what makes it so sad in a way, that I think Stoneman. Sure, he'd had a rough ride. He'd got to 50, and
he'd been dropped a couple of times as well.
He'd been dropped a couple of times,
yeah.
But
one very simple chance.
Nonetheless. Anyway, let's jingle up these two. Here's Johnny B.
I am the big shot. You heard me right the first time. Name of Bachelor Johnny Cool. Occupation Big Shot.
Interesting one.
And the other batsman is
this gentleman here.
Introducing the next generation David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
David Milan, congratulations.
And we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, who's just got off the phone with his lawyers. It's the Bear.
G'day.
Yeah, if you want to let Facebook know that they've made an entirely unreasonable decision, then we're not going to stop you. Anyway, the first bowler after tea is going to be this chap. Oh, is he not queued up?
Here it is. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is.
Paceman Pat, and his baggy green cap. Early in the morning, just before the warm-up, he has to pull out with a dodgy back.
Two slips in a gully and a short extra cover as he bowls the first ball after tea to Bairstow, who leaves this one outside the off stump. No run. Good morning, chaps. How's everybody?
Yeah, good, man.
We've got a lot of people here today, haven't we?
We have. It's amazing considering what time it started, eh?
Yeah.
Oi.
If they played Perth tests as day-nighters, like starting 6 o'clock English time, wouldn't that be perfect? And they'd get more TV coverage because everybody in normal countries could watch it.
True enough.
Say again?
If they played the Perth day-night.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, Cummins is in again to Bairstow. He has a dig outside the off stump. He didn't really move his feet, but he does get the bat down on the ball, guides it towards point. No run, 175 for 4. Have we had any tweets since,
we
since
have.
the tea interval?
I liked, and I'm going to find, where are we at? Steve Kellett said something rather good about egregious nonsense by Facebook, yeah.
Never too early in the morning to use the word egregious.
Well, exactly. Where is he? Yeah, there you go. I have it. They've employed the doddering idiot who used the umpire of Manchester 30 years ago. That's for the thingamajig. No, that's not that one. It's not that one.
Cummins in again, bowls to Bairstow, who defends. He doesn't get forward at all, stays very much in the crease, but prods it out the offside. No run.
Lots of things about Steve Pettifer, Captain Flymo, said, "Oi, Facebook, stop banning people on the say-so idiots like Sony TV have provided zero evidence of the wrongdoing by Guerilla Cricket. Assuming guilt is an egregious abuse of a position." I have to agree entirely. And we also have Mog, who says, "Have we started a fuck you Facebook movement yet? Because Facebook, fuck you," he says. Well, yeah, we could do. I mean, we'll get back there if we can.
Cummins bowls a very full ball outside the off stump. Bairstow is not drawn into a drive, and it's through to Payne. No run.
We just saw a close-up there of an extremely upset-looking Mark Stamen, looking very angry indeed.
I
And
think
I'm not surprised.
They were talking about Vorney said, "Oh yeah, it turned out to be the right decision." I still don't think it was the right decision, and the noise that came from it, it was very difficult to tell where it was. And from the position they had from the leg side, there was a frame. Then the ball seemed to go past the bat. Then there was a frame, and then the noise came in a frame after it passed the bat. He looked at it from the other side. There was nothing on the hot spot. His thumb seemed to go in his grill, and the noise that came off of the Snicko was one of those. Go for it.
As Cummins bowls the ball, comes back into Bairstow, but it started too wide, no run.
The noise was one of those fat, low ones, which indicates not a snick, it indicates some soft material. And so, how it could be overturned, I don't know. Then they showed these angles from sort of mid-off and these other angles where, due to foreshortening, you couldn't really tell whether the ball had gone onto the glove or not. But from the way Vaughan was implying, the amount of weight that it would have hit the glove with would have shown up on hotspot, and it didn't. And I just think it was a really poor decision by off-field umpire. There was no reason to overturn it. The umpire decided it wasn't out.
Cummins to complete the first over after tee to Bairstow, full ball on off stump, defended to short extra cover, no run. The end of the 54th over, 175 for 4.
Interesting fact about Patrick Cummins, a stato moment. His batting average and his bowling average is almost identical.
Oh.
He's got a batting average of 25.8 and a bowling average of 25.9.
That's interesting.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Well, Chris Dew says, not being on Facebook, this is the first time I get to see you with the YouTube stream. Why, thank you very much. Maybe YouTube is better. Maybe we should just ditch Facebook. Sod them anyway, as you say. Messi Jez says, indeed, there are some excellent IPAs here. Not just sporting venues where you can afford, where they can't afford the franchise. Okay, IPAs, that's what I'm drinking. Hop House, very nice.
Who do we have?
Well,
it's the man himself, isn't it?
It's the GOAT who will be bowling after tea.
Just
and it's this chap.
Yes.
The ball will be flying, Nathan Lyon will be crying. The ball will be flying, Nathan Lyon will be crying. Nathan Lyon!
Yep, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Milan. It's well outside the off stump. Milan is not drawn into a shot. If you're enjoying our commentary and if you're watching us on YouTube, hi to everybody.
YouTube.
As Lyon is in again to Milan down the wicket.
Nice.
A push drive, well fielded by Lyon in his follow-through, no run. You can send us some money to help us keep going. If you go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket, you can make a regular donation to us, even if it's only a couple of quid a month. That will help keep us in technical equipment as Lyon bowls a bit shorter. Milan goes on the back foot, cuts, can't beat the man at backward point, no run. And you can also subscribe to our archive. You can also go to our shop and buy Guerilla Cricket and branded merchandise. There's so much that you can do. And amongst our donors, let's read a few. We'll do it after this over because Lyon gets through them quite quickly.
I'm probably best positioned to sprint through
this is a fuller ball, nice bit of drift, but well met by Milan. Drives it up to deep mid-off. Takes the single. He moves up to 43, 176 for 4.
He's played. He's probably played Lyon one of the best, hasn't he?
Hiss of death.
Well, no, I mean just the fact that he actually gets to the pitch of the ball. He hasn't too often tried to do the sweep, and he's been quite happy to use his feet to get to the pitch. And I like the fact that when he gets there and he doesn't get to the pitch, he just bloody plays it for a single rather than trying to go through with some shot that's not there.
Bairstow's got something in his eye. So we've got a little bit of a break in play. It could be somebody else's hair from a headbutt. He will face up to Nathan Lyon now. Bairstow is of course right-handed. The field is, there's one slip. There is a forward short leg, and I can't see because they've changed the camera angle. A bunch of other fielders in lots of other interesting positions as Lyon will be bowling to Bairstow. He's in now. And bowls, and Bairstow goes back, turns this round the corner, not quite round the corner, in front of square, forward short leg fields on the bounce, no run.
Snowstorm Stick Betting, it's Wolfie Man says, I'm prepared to take a 1 month at Facebook strike and let them know it's because of their unfair treatment of you. Any others up for it, he says. Mile Roenick.
As Lyon's in again to complete the over. Good ball on off stump, defended by Bairstow, end of the over, 176 for 4.
Michael Rohanek? He's at the Ashes. I mean, he's at the Wacker. He says, hello from the Wacker. Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Shall we run through a quick list of donors while we've got a little
Yes.
space
Yeah,
between
go
overs?
for it.
Off you go,
Mog, Jonah, Diane Patterson, Peter Schvidler, Kevin Partington, Bob Maxwell, Steve Pettiford, Jane Francis, Katie Cooper, Derek Willis, Rahul, Sid Seymour, Matt Burley, Does Shave, Paul Collins, Jay Grover, Way Pom Pom, Chris Wallers, John Rogers, Christopher Barlow, Terry Francis, Croydon Mike, Anna Forsyth, Matt Tui, Niall Connolly. I'll stop there for now.
As
But
Cummins.
thank you to all.
Yep, and there are many others if you want to join them. Just go to our website and follow the various links. Did we have any entries to our GPL competition
We
today?
did today.
What have people gone for? I'm interested.
Well, they went quite high. The lowest one I last looked was 338, I think.
Well, England are going at 3.2 and over as Cummins is round the wicket to the left-handed Milan, who jabs down on this. It goes out to wide mid-off, no run.
Right, I shall give you some scores from the GPL. The lowest was 338, Ling Mao. Went 338, 340. Krusty Crouton went 341. Ling Mao went 342, 344, 346, 348. Messi
Really?
Jez has gone 353, 363, 373, and 383. You get 383.
383 will be doing well.
Wow, that would be hammering
200
it.
plus runs after tea. That will be good going. That will either mean Milan and Bairstow have gone nuts, or England will be skittled and David Warner will have gone nuts.
Right,
Which
this is true, yeah.
Theoretically possible, I
It is
suppose.
possible. Messi Jez goes, sorry, Fred. Day night will never be used for Perth Test. They would be finishing at 1 a.m. in Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But in the normal world, anyway, as
in England,
this is slightly edgy, but downwards towards the gully by Milan, no run. Yeah, well, you know, if it finished midnight, that's not the end of the world. Finish a Test match at midnight in Melbourne and Sydney.
It's fine for a weekend. It may not be quite so convenient for a
Yeah.
working week, I suppose.
But there are a lot more people in Britain than there are in Australia.
Wolfman says YouTube volumes, we're fine. Tony's jingles are almost inaudible.
Well, they're not my personal jingles.
Well,
I can
no,
only
no,
make
I
them
don't
as loud
understand
as
why.
they
Get
come
the
out.
keyboard in as Cummins bowls, and onto the back foot goes Milan. Just pushes us out square on the offside, no run.
Expand. I mean, they're all the same volume in here, and they're all the same volume on our headphones.
They do have different levels in the different jingles
all
do
the
have
jingles
different levels.
Different
yeah.
levels,
yeah.
yeah, that's because they've come from all sorts of people who don't do things to them. You know.
Yeah, take that, Mog and Perko.
No, they're generally okay. It's actually Sherwood who was the worst, considering he was a musician. Never used to normalise stuff. It was always too quiet. If you're listening, Sherwood.
A good old-fashioned scoreboard at Perth with a manual scoreboard. As the next ball from Cummins is short and speedy. It was a little bit wide of the off stump. Milan does sway out the way, but I don't think it was going to.
He's certainly mastered that sway, hasn't he, Fred? He's had a chance to use that a lot today.
Yeah, well, the Australians bowl body line. Let's be honest.
He's a sway pom.
They don't like it when people do it to them, but they do it to everybody else. So.
Lots of people getting in touch with Facebook for us. Nicholas Mills at Facebook. Sort yourself out. Get your legal department doing what they pay them to do. The Guerilla Cricket is fully legit. Thank you very much, Nicholas Mills.
Thank you, Nicholas.
I don't know about fully legit. As Cummins bowls round the wicket, a very
that's a
wide
shocker.
floaty delivery. It would have been probably a wide in one-day cricket, but Milan is not tempted to have a drive. He's not James Vince, let's be honest. It's through to the keeper. 176 for 4 is still the score. Yes, it's a decent run rate. I mean, it's a fastish scoring ground, and the wicket is, let's be honest, pretty good for batting. We haven't seen a lot of lateral movement, and we haven't seen anything by way of turn from Lyon, although he's got the ball to drift quite nicely. As
Just
he
lost
does.
wickets at crucial times, though, haven't we? We got off to a flyer, lost a wicket.
The one before
Picked up,
lunch
lost a
would have
wicket.
been particularly annoying, because to go
Yeah.
one down at lunch is pretty good. This one is angled in towards Milan, finds a gap on the offside, takes the comfortable single. The end of the 56th over, 177 for 4. Milan has 44 and Bairstow 14.
Yeah, I think we just need to take sting out of them. The longer we take them into the day, the more tired the bowlers are going to get, obviously. And by the end of the day, they might even get 90 overs in, so we're going to get the ball will be there's 50 overs old now, so
which means we'll have the new ball by the end of the day.
Yeah, we're tired bowlers, and hopefully we can make a little bit of hay. If these two can just stay there, if we can get up to towards 300 with these two, it'd be so nice to actually put a bloody decent score on the board and see if we can actually properly exert some pressure on the Aussies and keep our foot on their neck.
So 56 overs, we got 34 before the new ball. No, what am I saying? 24 before the new ball.
Lyon's first ball
34.
of the new over is angled in towards Milan, defended back to the bowler. We have 24,
24.
before the
I
new
really
ball
can't
and
count.
34 before the close of play.
Yes,
which
thank
will
you.
probably be a little bit late. I would guess about 20 minutes over time today, as Milan faces up to Lion again. He should be turning the ball away from the left-hander. Down the wicket he comes. He gets a bit of bat and pad, shovels it into the leg side, no run. Lion's hands fly up into the air as if to stifle an appeal, but I don't know what he would have been appealing for there. Yeah, as you said, Tony, Milan is using his feet. Is coming down the wicket. Oh no, it was Bear said it. Sorry. He's down the wicket again and finds a gap in the leg side.
Very nice.
Square of the man at mid-wicket. Takes one. That's all they're going to take. 45 for Milan, 178 for 4.
They seem to sit in here, really, don't they? Mog says, I must admit I'm pretty shit at checking levels some days. That's okay, Mog. Yours are pretty good, actually. Dallas Nash says, general DRS comment. It's there to eliminate the howler or really poor decision, so it's ludicrous for the third umpire to spend half an hour trying to spot a non-existent nick on a bat or a glove to reverse an LBW. It's only because of grazing or micro missing the stumps.
I think the howler point is a little bit overplayed. Mostly because Agnew used to say it a lot. Still round the wicket to the right-handed Bairstow, who doesn't quite get on top of this, turns this round the corner. Takes a single. The man at short leg is in front of the wicket, so he wasn't in any great danger there, Bairstow. But he wasn't in total control of the shot either, 179 for 4.
Messenger says, there may be a bigger population in the UK, but judging from David's article, very few are watching the cricket on the TV.
Well, it's because in the middle of the fucking
I
night,
know what it
Jez.
is.
Lion bowls again. Bairstow goes back and cuts this through second
Milan,
slip.
not Bairstow.
Milan, a very, very nice shot. And it's down to the boundary. Very fine at third man for one of these.
One of these, and I'd like to know how loud you think it's coming out if you're listening, please. It does sound quite quiet, actually, even in my headphones.
That was all right. Sherwood Classic. Yeah, it was a beautiful shot. There's nothing like a nicely timed late cut. And the partnership has gone to 52, which is, well, it's reasonable. And it's a platform, let's put it that way. Milan is on 49, faces up to a Lion again. The last ball of the 57th over down the wicket. He tried to push a single down to deep mid-off. Lion got across, fielded it well, and Milan had to scramble back into his crease. The end of the over, 183 for 4. We got any tweets?
No.
Okay. Tweet us, you bastards.
Tweet us, you bastards, yeah.
Yeah. Bairstow is... He normally likes to get going a little bit quicker. He's only going at 33 runs per 100 balls. He's got 15 off 45 deliveries.
I'm quite happy with that.
But he's probably conscious, he's been elevated up the order. We've discussed at some length the fact that, shepherding the tail was all well and good, but he's probably too good a batsman to be continually given that role.
Honestly,
and Moeen Ali's not in great form, is he?
I don't think it matters too much who bats at 6, 7 and 8. These are the tiniest incremental decisions which have very little impact on the game, in my opinion.
We'll see if these two can go on and make 100 each. It'll be a different looking scorecard and a different looking mood in the England cap, I'm sure.
Yeah, there hasn't been any innings where England have really ground the Aussie bowlers into the dust.
No.
And we've been saying, in the previews to the series, that with a fragile three-man pace attack, they are vulnerable if they take a bit of tap at one point. But it's not happened, and it's not happened pretty much because they've been bowling very skillfully.
Yes.
So. But if England can bat for 5 sessions at one point, it might be slightly different, as Cummins starts a new over to young Johnny Bairstow, full driven, not entirely timed, goes up to mid-on, no run. Still no tweets.
There's still no tweets.
I'll have to keep talking.
Yeah, we'll have to keep talking.
What's this graphic on Sky? Test career batting by position.
Average. His highest average is at number 6, where his batting is at 46.6.
Yeah, he's had 3 innings at 8, and 1 innings at 4. You can't tell too much from that, but hey ho, it's a graphic, and it's on the telly. Cummins is in again to the ginger head butter. He's in now, bowls not too far wide of the off stump, a decent leave. Perhaps he left it on
87, nearly 88 miles an hour.
88 miles an hour. It was a quickish ball, wasn't really threatening the stumps, and Bairstow left it. There's a bit of chat going on between Gollum and the umpire. Nathan Lyon fielding at square leg is having a chat with the umpire. I don't know what it's about. Maybe he's just bored. Shouldn't be, he's bowling. He should be concentrating on what he's doing next over.
He wants to end a few careers, that's what he said, didn't he? That was his choice of language.
I don't think he's quite the king of banter. I think he's drawn into it. Cummins bowls again on the hip of Bairstow, turns this nicely through square leg. He's going to take one, he's going to take two. Are they going to think about a third? They do, but they don't take it, as it's reasonably well fielded and a good throw in from the deep square leg boundary. 2 runs to Bairstow, who moves up to 17, 185 for 4.
Yes, I wonder what that discussion was about with Chris Gaffney, isn't it? I think the other umpire.
Well, I was watching the New Zealand Test match the other day, and it had obviously the New Zealand home feed. They use the English method of scoring. So a short ball aimed towards the neck of Bairstow. That was quick as well. It was 87 miles an hour. He got down very quickly underneath it, and it's through to the keeper. Yeah, they say 102 for 2.
Yeah, it's only Australia.
It's only Australia, but it's not an Antipodean thing.
Way.
Yeah. That was a well-directed bouncer. Had Bairstow not ducked, it would have hit him in the grill.
Dealt with nicely though by Bairstow, down on one knee.
Yep.
It was a kind of a combination of a duck and the Milan
and he kept
backward bend.
Well, having got down there, he stayed there for a few seconds as if to make the point, and has a grin at the bowler in his follow-through, who probably had a few words to say, as Australian bowlers are wont to do. Cummins in again to Bairstow.
That's
again
nice.
On the pads, turned round the corner to fine leg. There was a man down there, of course. Single to Bairstow, 186 for 4. Bairstow is up to 18, and the end of the 58th over.
Okay, Snowstorm, Sticky Belly. Paul from Man says, softest I ever heard that Billy Idol 4 jingle. Sorry, I don't know. I'll go out and have a listen to YouTube when I'm off air and see if I can do anything. But I can't see.
Is the
what it would be?
The volume at its highest on that computer?
I will try and.
No, it's fine. I mean, what you're hearing in your ears is pretty much
what it is.
Well, it does sound ever so slightly quiet in my headphones. It's not exactly.
Well, it depends.
That
Again, it depends on
driving. Could be my ears inside the headphones, of course.
Yeah.
It depends on the jingles as well. Particularly the jingles are quieter than others.
Do let us know. We love your technical comments. Well, some of them anyway. Lion will be starting a new over to Bairstow. It's outside the off stump and it's nudged in defence to cover, no run.
Alec Payton says the sexier Tonia, the sexier jingles sound fine on the website feed. Well, I hope so. Just a tiny smidge too quiet on the jingles, I'd say. Well, I can turn them up if you really want me to. That's fine. You bastard, says Chris Waller. Thank you. Jonas says, good day from a still 30-degree Sydney. KP
G'day.
Calling a Bairstow ton.
And this is flicked into the leg side by Bairstow. He was looking for a single up to long on. A good diving stop by somebody at mid-wicket prevents a single. And the Queen's in the crowd. Hello, the Queen.
There she is.
Camilla was there earlier.
Really? It's a family outing.
Indeed. Bit of a weird one to take over the Camilla mask, isn't it?
Why would you sell Camilla masks?
I don't know.
Is there a lot of call for that?
To wear one if you were Camilla.
To be honest, I wouldn't have thought so.
Anyway, Lion has none for 32 and he'll be bowling to Bairstow. It's on leg stump and it's turned neatly through mid-wicket for a single. And they are taking the singles that are on offer and they're not playing big shots at Lion, and they're just sort of milking him.
Well, I think
milking the goat.
Milking the goat.
Playing it like the middle overs of a 50-over game is not a bad strategy at the moment.
No, it's not.
Got to keep the scoreboard ticking.
This is driven back to the bowler by Lion, who throws it up in the air for no apparent reason. No run.
Wait, Pom simply says, which you bastards is calling us bastards? Bastards.
All of us.
Yes, Morg says, you can't expect us to be spontaneous with tweets. Each of mine takes hours of work. Well, you know, Morg.
This is Milan, leans into a single, up to deep mid-off, and that takes him to 50.
Well done, Dawid Milan.
Tommy Amadeo says, I'm awake, I promise. Time for another coffee.
Yeah, it's light here in London. It looks like a reasonable day. It wasn't that cold this morning, actually. I thought it was going to be freezing when I headed out here, but it was quite mild.
Yeah, considering what it has been over the last few days.
Yeah, it was quite. I didn't think they were forecasting snow, and then Sunday morning we got up and it was like 6 inches of snow. Milan's 50 from 87 balls. He hasn't technically given a chance, but he has edged a few early in his innings. Back goes Bairstow, cutting this to point. Doesn't time it very well. No run. End of the 59th over, 188 for 4.
Roger Melly says, speaking of umpires, if Alim Dar dyed his beard white, he could get a part-time job as a sight screen. Boom, boom. Snowstorm Sticky Belly says, you think he'd be more successful in his first run calling? I don't know who's that to. Jonah Jones, of course, and temperatures in Sydney. Jonah says, is that live? No.
No. This is we're looking at Milan's 50.
Seems to be a lot of chit-chat from the bowlers. I need to know what they're niggling about. Nah,
they're just Australians, aren't
they're
they?
just Australians. They're bowling a fair bit of short stuff today. They troubled Stoneman for quite a while.
They hit him.
Him and helmet.
He was dropped a couple of times. One fairly soft one at slip and a difficult... the ball after he got hit, there was another short ball and he just chipped it up in the air. And Lyon didn't quite take the catch running in. So, he had a little bit of luck before his bad luck. New over from Cummins outside the off stump. Milan doesn't play a shot, no run.
Messenger says, well, Twitter ban us if you keep sending us photos from the ground. They may well do.
Who knows? They're very capricious organisations, these giant social media things. What's the word I'm looking for? Companies, that's it. Yeah, it's too early in the morning. Milan's graph, he's played a couple of nice cover drives, but 18, the plurality of his runs have come behind square on the leg side, 18 out of 50.
Well, he got 6 there, didn't he? With a sort of
with
a
top
edge, wasn't it?
Yeah, Cummins in again, full driven.
Oh,
nicely. Is there a man out there?
No,
No, there
there
isn't.
isn't.
That's
Lovely
a
shot.
lovely
That
square
is
drive from
going
David Milan, 4 runs.
All the way.
And even if you're bowling as quickly and as well as Pat Cummins, a half volley is a half volley.
Yeah.
Dealt with very stylishly, though, you have to say.
I think the next ball will be a little bit shorter, possibly quite a lot shorter. Bowlers don't like being driven, especially fast bowlers.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if this next one's not at his throat.
But then again, he might be expecting that. The double bluff is a good length ball outside the off stump. No, it is a good length ball outside the off stump, and it's a jab towards cover, no run.
Well, it does seem to be a problem dedicated with YouTube, because Wolfie Man says that the website feed is fine.
And YouTube, I would imagine, you don't have to reset every 4 hours like Facebook.
No, I don't know.
Let's just go to YouTube. Everybody use YouTube, it's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Click on the adverts, we might get some money out of that. You can monetize YouTube quite successfully, I think.
You can.
You can.
So, sod Facebook. We don't like Facebook anyway.
Exactly.
Cummins is around the wicket to Milan. He's in and bowls. It is a shorter ball, and Milan gets down low, well underneath it, and Payne takes.
Who's that?
That's Swampy Marsh, isn't it? Isn't that Jeff Marsh?
That is Jeff Marsh.
Yeah, he's
Is he
put on a few pounds.
Is he the dad of both Marshes? One Marsh
is
or
the
neither
uncle?
Marsh?
Is he not the uncle?
Or is he the
dad?
uncle?
I
No,
don't
it's the
know.
uncle, I think.
I
You're right.
don't care.
Who cares?
Well, it could be the dad and the uncle in rural Australia.
Oh my word! Oh dear me!
Some people are coming in. We're going to be taken off at 3 minutes. Okay,
3 minutes.
We've got the 3-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
And a new over. Oh, it's not a new over. It's Cummins still bowling outside the off stump. And Milan lifts his bat high. The ball goes through to Payne. No run. 192 for 4. Would England have taken 192 for 4 when they won the toss and batted?
Probably, I'd have thought.
I would have said no. I would have said no. 192 for 2 or 3. If you really believe it's a good track, and the way they've lost their wickets again, one of them, because we've already agreed, I think, huge misfortune. No, I think they'd be a little bit disappointed. I think they've batted better than that score. 192 for 3, I think, yes. I think that one extra wicket just still...
I mean, if these two are still in and it's 250, then, I mean, it's pretty even.
Cummins bowls again. Full ball. Milan defends. No run.
Brizzy Blade says, afternoon, Guerilla Cricket. Thank you for saving me from the fuckwits talking endless drivel on Channel 9.
Yep.
It's our pleasure.
We're not endless drivel, we're just occasional drivel, which is a big step up, let's be honest. We're going to have one more over before a change. I think we're going to have a 3-person change. We've got so many people here today. We had like 11 people here earlier.
It's all good.
Gosh, we're dead keen, we are. And I would imagine Lyon is going to bowl it. Oh no, it's probably a drink. Is it a drink break? Why they've got such a long advert?
No, it's half an hour, isn't it? Dallas Nash, Dallas of Botswana, has come across the Sun story about the fixing. I haven't actually read it.
I haven't either.
It sounds like a lot of puff
friend of mine was in Botswana last week. Had a very good time. He was out on business. Said it was quite interesting. Tony, you've got a lot of notes there. Blimey.
Oh, it's just, yeah.
He always has notes as well.
I always
Tony.
take loads of notes. I get to use about 0.5% of them.
But it's good that they're there. Lyon starts a new over to Bairstow. He's over the wicket now. And,
Sean and Mitchell are, of course, brothers.
Right, and also cousins. As that's outside the off stump and left through to the keeper. Lyon in again to young Johnny Bairstow on off stump, defending with the leg side. No run.
Brizzy Blade also says he was sat near the Queen on day one at the Gabba. Taller than you imagine, he says.
And broad-shouldered by that by the pictures we saw earlier.
Indeed. Glenn Vieira's not on Facebook. So he's one of us to join and leave or not. Yeah, we're not.
Back goes Bairstow, defends into the leg side. No run. Or, as Knackle would say, there is no run.
Indeed. Mog says the jingles are fine via audio, especially those which I have done. Ooh.
Well, let's get an unbiased opinion rather than Mog. Close up of Smith at slip as this next one, Bairstow goes back, defends into the leg side again. No sign of the relieving crew. If they're coming in two
Jeff
balls,
Marsh,
they're leaving it a bit late.
Jeff Marsh is their father.
He is their father.
He is their father.
You've got the DNA tests there, have you?
Your father, as he would say.
A fuller ball and driven quite sweetly from Bairstow. Is that it's a bit of a poor effort down there, and he's going to get 4 as a shocking piece of fielding. Who is that?
Mitch Marsh. Mitchell Stark.
Mitchell Stark, who dived, didn't pick up the ball, and then got up and then had another dive and followed the ball across the boundary for one of these.
Seems to us that it's in form.
Yeah, I don't think the bowler will be too impressed with that. It was sweetly timed, but I didn't think it had the legs to get to the boundary, but apparently it did.
He dived over
it, pushed
didn't
he? He pushed it a little bit further.
Helped it on its way.
And then had to get up. I'll give you a trick. If you dive and miss it, just stay on the ground. Yeah. Let somebody else do it. The end of the over, as this is defended by Bairstow. 196 for 4, Milan is 54, Bairstow 23, and we'll have a changeover.
We will indeed.
Indeed. I've highlighted the tweets that we're on.
Are you going to play some music?
I will do. No.
Dead air, there's dead air everywhere. Apparently we didn't get a tune off in time for that little changeover, but we're back. Hello.
Hello. Another tweet from Snowstorm Sticky Belly. Lyon, I'm halfway through my jumper. Mitch Marsh using that 2-pearl 1 knit technique. Lyon, absolutely, it's great. Thanks, Pat. Cummins, no problem. I discovered it gives great textures. UMP, I'm going to have to ask you to stop this stitch up. It's scaring the palms.
What the fuck?
Thoughts?
Too long.
Harvey, have you been drinking again?
Hazelwood replacing Cummins, and comes in and bowls, and that keeps a little bit low, and as Milan tries to pull him, hits him on the hip, I would think.
That is this man coming to bowl.
He once hit keys wet as stumps. He must be good. Josh Hazelwood.
Oof.
Ooh.
Wasn't the hip quite,
That's
was it?
a cock botherer.
It was between the... well, thank you. Between the two hips.
And for those of you waking up to Guerilla cricket.
Well, his protector's better than David Lloyd's in 1974-5. Here comes Hazelwood. Bowls, Milan's forward, pushing carefully down to mid-on, no run. He's on 54 now from 95 balls. And Bairstow's got truly in. He's faced 61 for his 23 not out. This partnership is putting England into something of a position.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're moving along quite strongly at this point. They've managed to hold off that first half an hour after tea reasonably well. I wouldn't say entirely comfortably, but they're both still out there, and they both moved their scores on somewhat.
Key question is, can one of our guys who gets a start go on and make a big 100?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what's been missing from England's batting in this test, or this series.
Hazelwood again into Milan. It's a no ball. Milan pushes it down to mid-on, not hearing the call soon enough to have a start at it.
Over the line!
Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
It's not often we get to dig that one out in a test match, but it's always fun when we do.
Have you got jingles for failed reviews?
Oh yes.
You've probably got Watson.
You know, believe it or not, we actually don't. We do have some review jingles.
Hazelden again. Down to mid-on again, pushes Milan and scrambling stop by the fielder.
In fact, I'd started to play the not out post-review jingle when Mark Steinman was given out.
Put the mockers on him.
You did.
Yeah. I'll take responsibility for that one. Because I think Aaron
took the Joe responsibility. Joe Root. Joe Root's looking
fault.
Good.
We've taken half the England wickets between us.
Me the captain, so double points. The merits for me.
Here comes Hazelwood. Another good length ball. Not quite so much menace in the pitch now. The ball's a bit softer. 60 overs. 20 overs to the new ball. So what's the tactic? Milk Lion, and we've got to milk everyone now. You need to get, if we can lose no wicket and get another 60, 70 runs before the new ball, that would be handy.
Yeah, I think they need to still have a plan to score. We just talked about it at the tee, but if you do and you can have this period where it's a little bit easier for batting, you're all of a sudden 250 for 4. The game kind of looks in England's favour all of a sudden.
I think this might be the time where, actually I'll go into this after this ball.
Another good length ball. This time it's a little fuller and it's flicked away by Milan into the leg side for a single.
I think it might be the time where I think we'll get Mitchell Marsh on possibly sooner rather than later after his 2 overs before the tea break, and I think it might be the case that with the ball getting older and not really doing as much, and with Marsh not being one of Australia's premier quits, that maybe Bairstow or Milan try to actually target him, try to take the attack to him a little bit to move that score on and really put the pressure on Australia, which you'd have to say in this series so far they've not been able to manoeuvre themselves into a position to do.
We know Jeffrey Boycott wouldn't like. Anyway, Hazelwood's in and Bairstow chops down into the gully.
Quick interesting question on Twitter here. It's from David M. At Guerilla Cricket. Morning, chaps. Just tuning in if you can tune in online. Another Cook failure. Is this the end of his Test career? I want to see your thoughts on that.
No.
There we go then. A quick resounding. That's 3 no's.
I think as much if there were openers queuing up, then I think that would be a possibility. But at the moment there aren't. I mean, look how long it's taken to find in Mark Stoneman a promising opening partner for Cook. I think it's possible that perhaps if Hamid comes back and into form the early start of the county season, he maybe presses for a place in the England side. Then you could feasibly, especially with the way James Vince has been playing, you could feasibly see a situation where perhaps Hamid and Stoneman open and Cook goes back down to 3.
Or Stoneman at 3, maybe.
Possibly Stoneman at 3, but I think if Cook's the man out of form, then perhaps Cook's the man who something needs to change with. And speaking of changes, we have one of those in the bowling attack as this man comes on to replace Nathan Lyon.
You can't win the Ashes without your best players on the park. So drop Mitchell Johnson and bring in Mitchell Stark.
And there's a twat in front of the sight screen.
Oh, it always happens.
Yeah.
When will cricket fans do it?
Never. I know cricket journalists who've done it.
Oh, really?
Yes. It might have been at the Oval, actually. I saw Vish, dearly departed of this parish, wandering across in front of the sight screen and holding play up for a couple of minutes. Silly man.
Land drives and gets a single into the offside.
Was that a hint of reverse swing?
Yeah,
I see a replay on that ball.
That ball moved, and it moved late.
It did move late, and we know that Mitchell Stark goes very at this stage. Will go full and short, and when it's full, it does have a little bit of late tail to it. Now, whether it's reverse swing, we'll probably see on the replay, but which hopefully they show, but they don't look like they are.
I'm surprised that eagle-eyed Michael Vaughan hasn't spotted that, or Damien Fleming or somebody. Can you tell from? I'd say the rough side's on the inside.
Yeah, I would agree.
If this moves away from Bairstow, we'll know.
He's coming in over the wicket.
Yeah, there's a
little bit of shade.
Yeah, I think that is reverse swing. Did it move towards the rough side? Did it? It moved towards the shiny side. So
it's a bit like how the sun goes down, isn't it? After 60 overs, suddenly it just starts to go a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, it's getting to that time of the day in Perth where you start to, where the doctor starts to pick up.
The doctor's call.
The doctor may call on England if Starkey's bowling quickly and with reverse swing. That's possibly the worst time that could happen for England. But it's not all doom and gloom yet. They're still in.
199 for 4. Bairstow leaves outside the off stump.
What you certainly saw in probably Stark's first spell with the new ball was that a lot of the swing that he was getting was very, very early swing. It was kind of loopy banana swing where it doesn't have that kind of late deviation, which certainly the first ball of this over really did. That's certainly when I bat poorly at the best of times, but it's the late movement that
it's the late movement that does do
pants off me.
Yeah, absolutely. The seed movement, and late swing.
Shiny side is on. Excuse me. Stark in bowls a bouncer.
Not going to swing from there.
No.
Bairstow ducks.
That's probably a yard or two too short. Not really much really you're going to get with that. Have we got people?
Got a few tweets
keeping
here.
in with us on the Twitter? Wonderful.
MCP, very much enjoying the Ashes commentary from Guerilla Cricket. A suitable blend of subtle wit and impending doom. Keep up the good work, gents. The wit's coming from you two. The doom's from me, I think. No, thank you very much.
Who else have we got with us?
Oh, one sec.
Stark in bowls, that's on the leg stump, tucked away down to fine leg by Bairstow, moves on to 24.
Roger Manley.
That's the 200 up.
Sorry, Roger Manley talking about the Cook debate. If memory serves me correctly, Greg Chappell got something like 7 effing ducks in a row. The chef is nowhere near that. Like Chappell, the chef has class. Only an idiot would drop him for a few bad scores. So he's following us.
I agree.
Following our views exactly.
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, Cook's played very well in England the last handful of summers. So I think when it comes around to the English season when we host, I actually forget who the touring sides are next summer.
Pakistan and India and Australia, I think, for one day.
But I don't think that'll be. I don't think that'll be a problem for Cook.
No. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Staff in front of the side screen.
Dear, oh dear.
Unbelievable.
But Cook's has had that in his career.
Yeah, look, it's
Stark in again, and there's some more swing, late swing in, but Malan plays it well enough and gets 2 out into the extra cover area.
I mean, it was the last India series in England where he was under an awful lot of pressure.
But he always comes back and scores runs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first test in that series, I think it was Trent Bridge, was one of the most dire affairs I've ever seen. And then I think in the second, England managed to get themselves out. I think they gave Ishant Sharma a 6-for, and they pretty much did give it. He would dig it in short, and every single England batsman just hooked him to deep square leg. It was one of the most pathetic batting displays I've ever seen. I was thinking about it earlier when we sort of the deep backward square was out for Australia for a lot of the day, and England just were resolutely not looking anywhere near him. Which I suppose is progress. And being bounced out by Ishant Sharma was just humiliating.
Bairstow facing up more in swing, but this is beautifully played through the onside to mid wicket, off his legs for 4. Lovely shot by Bairstow.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
Well, whatever we think about Alistair Cook, he's looking pretty relaxed, sitting in his shades next to Paul Farbrace, having a laugh.
I think if you scored as many test runs as he has, I think you can be secure in yourself.
Exactly.
I still would quite like him to pass Tendulkar, but I know that's a long way off now.
Oh, that'd be a
The
big
test
ask.
runs. It would be, well,
Hazelwood in again, bowls full, and the misfield in the covers, which allows them to get
Never
a
on
quick
a
single.
misfield, they did that time.
if he bats for us as late into his kind of career age-wise as Tim
Yeah.
Doyle did, then he's probably about on track to pass him. He's, I think, about
Yes.
4,000 runs behind.
Yeah, it's just dependent on whether he has a desire to go and do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Like, you know, if he thinks, right, he's had a long stint in front of the test scrutiny or the pressure of Test cricket.
I think it is probably a good sign for his longevity that he stepped down from the captaincy and wanted to continue batting.
Yeah. No, hopefully that will kind of enthuse him to play a bit more, play and elongate his career. But at some point, you know, having that desire and being that good for that long is very rare thing.
Oh yeah.
Milan just pushing Hazelwood out into the offside for no run off the last ball there.
Oh my goodness, we're still getting replays of that. Is it that review?
England 207 for 4 in the 64th over. Run rate 3.26. Milan 58 out of 102 and Bairstow 29. Milan lets that one go past his off stump.
Mark disagrees with our Guerilla Cricket. Well, I say our position. At Guerilla Cricket, you're never going to find another opener if Cook keeps dead waiting position. Drop him if the test is lost and start the process.
No, bloody hell no!
In the middle of a tour.
Do you know how long it? Look at how long it's taken us to find a batsman in Mark Stoneman who looks like he can actually open the batting. We have tried every single bloody opener in England at this point. I think I'm third on the list now for next cab off the rank. Like it's not a matter of Cook dead weight in the position. We'll never find someone. Give us a bit of time with this pair, and then maybe we look to
I
move on
agree.
to the future.
Look, the England Lions are out in Australia, but they're playing T20 at the moment. There's no way they're going to bring in a Gubbins or a Jennings again for Cook in the middle of a series. It would be like sending Wayne Rooney home from a World Cup.
Well, it's not
because
against,
he's not playing well
against this Australia side as well at the moment. It'd be a baptism of fire as well. It might, you know, hamper their career. Rather have someone who's done it before and done it in Test cricket and against Australia, rather than someone new, not play Test cricket to face probably one of the best attacks in the world.
Yeah, and you look at this side, it is a fairly young side, a fairly raw side.
Hazelwood's in and bowls, and that's a lovely cover drive by Milan. That will probably go to the boundary. It certainly will. David Warner's given up the chase earlier than usual. And Milan moves on to 62 now off 105. Not a bad strike rate. 211 for 4.
I love that jingle.
Short and sweet, like the shot.
Mike. I've just lost the tweet, unfortunately. I'll scroll down. Mike says he's watching. Started my new job on last Monday, and I'm in the office listening in down the road from the whacker at work. Great coverage. Thank you very much, Mike. Hope the workday's not going too badly.
Although if you're in
Depends who
at
he
8:15, ooh, it's animal age. They are birds of some kind. They have feathers and beaks, 2 legs, controversially. I don't know what they are.
Great commentary about the birds.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, that one. He's dropped it. He had a piece of bread in that red
teapot.
beak.
A real Attenborough moment there.
He's dropped it. Has he just dropped the duck ashes? Probably not. It's a piece of bread. He's buggering off now. Are they ducks? I haven't got a clue.
England batsmen having a bit of a powwow, looking to book in if they can for the
Barmy
rest
Army
of
in
the day.
full spirits behind. They've had a few drinks, which is good.
The Barmy Army in Australia having a few drinks.
Yeah.
Ah,
Shocked me.
Perish the thought.
They'll be playing bugles next. Hazelwood's going to start a new over. He's coming in with 2 slips and a gully. Extra cover, mid-off, mid-on. There'll be a fine leg there. We haven't got the full screen. As Hazelwood comes in. Sorry, it's Stark who comes in, round the wicket to Bairstow, pushes forward, no run.
If it is reverse swinging, which looks like it is, going around the wicket's a bit of an angle that Stark will use to try and bring the slips into play, whether he can, which is what he usually tries to do, and then the odd one, obviously, at the stumps. which is also his one. So interesting to see if kind of Bairstow's figured out or realised that's going to be the plan to him here. Because as the danger with Stark is he gets his tail so late.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that kind of batsman where you've really got to be ready to jab down at a moment's
Here is
notice.
again Bairstow driving into the offside, no run, doesn't time it, hits the bottom of the bat by the look of it.
It's not his non-sponsored bat.
I love it so much. It's such a good look. I think there's 2 England batsmen with non-sponsored bats in this series, but I forget who the other
No,
is.
I think Ben Stokes non-sponsored as well,
Ah,
but he's
was it
not.
Stokes?
It's not obviously
Okay.
not in
Yes,
New Zealand.
Bairstow not moving his foot much, but just enough to get his head across. Bit seconds, this sort of pace, even though it's 64 overs old. It's a bouncer.
You
From
don't need to
start,
move your feet
Bairstow
too
ducks.
much at that pace. No, not too much foot movement required, just shifting weight.
But Cook, you'd admit, didn't do quite
No,
enough.
I mean, well, the thing is, though, Cook's never moved his feet.
Especially not early in the innings.
In early innings, he's not
So
been a
it's just
big
the
foot
eye then,
mover.
so
Yeah,
it's
it's
the eye.
just the way he plays, and
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, people are always going to say that about Cook. People are going to say he's on the crease.
But he was actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Anyway.
But Bairstow at the moment is complaining about people keep walking out behind the side screen, so in black, which must be annoying.
Ban caterers.
Well, it was bad planning to have a table with sort of wine waiters right next to the side screen. Here comes Stark round the wicket, and that does shape away, but it was an over-full Yorker, and Bairstow wasn't tempted to have slashed it very wide.
But then I suppose the people who are going to be paying for the seats with the wine waiters are the people who are going to want that nice view down the wicket. Money does tend to talk. Let's have a look at. No, come on, get the. They managed to almost entirely miss the ball with the camera on that replay.
Well, a bit like the Stoneman dismissal.
Well, yeah, quite. That's.
Before they miraculously found the angle later. Anyway, Stark is in again, loping up. Past the umpire and bowls, that's on the legs, and Bairstow clips it through mid-wicket nicely. He may not get 4, he's going to get 3 for sure. It's a long run and he's given up. So it's 4 runs to Bairstow.
It's a very
and if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
It was a very stiff-looking chase after the ball. One of the big fast bowlers. Harry Trapp is joining us from Goa at Guerilla Cricket, enjoying the coverage sat in Sandpat Beach, Shack Goa. Hashtag Ashes, hashtag living the dream. Yeah, beautiful part of the world.
Indeed.
He was labouring, it's Cummins.
Yeah,
Labouring.
placement pat.
Yeah.
Stark 2 for 62. This partnership 84 for 163 balls. The shorter length ball, but easily played back down the track by Bairstow, who's on 33. Milan on 62 now. End of the over.
Cummins, of course, notably, is a relatively brittle man.
Well, what was the stat about him? How many test matches he played over the last 6 years or something?
Yeah, it's not many.
No. Interesting thing for me with this now is with these fast bowlers all bowling back to back. Who's going to be the new ball pairing? Will Stark go again with the new ball? It's quite close to it now.
I imagine. I think we may have seen more or less the end of Stark now, and you'd see
Both Lyon and Marsh.
Yeah, maybe Lyon and Marsh. Now maybe a very quick blast from Cummins, because I think you'll see Hazelwood and Marsh. Stark take the new ball.
Yeah. There's 15 overs to go, I suppose, but still, that's not.
Well, that's encouraging, because Cummins looks like he's labouring.
And here he comes.
And he's in. So maybe he'll. He might struggle, and England can get through another little phase before the new ball.
Let's see if there's a couple of looseness here. Is this jingle anyway?
Paceman Pat, Paceman Pat, Paceman Pat, and his baggy green cap. Early in the
First ball is a good length one. Milan easily plays forward.
I'm going to give us that one again, because he very inconveniently actually did his job and bowled the ball. So you didn't actually hear a very good jingle.
Paceman Pat, Paceman Pat, Paceman Pat, and his baggy green cap. Early in the morning, just before the warm-up, he has to pull out with a dodgy back.
Patrick Cummins!
What an
Dan
intro.
Norcross on the end of that.
Here he comes,
Oh.
and coming, and Milan is pulling that one down to deep mid-wicket, and he'll pick up 2 for sure.
Well,
But
look-
they won't go for a third. Milan onto 64.
That looked like a stiff delivery.
You know what? That's one of very few genuine pull shots I think.
Well, Milan's been
genuine
a
full-blooded
bit more
pull
happy to take it on. I don't know if it was when he's coming the age of the ball it's allowed him to do so, but the guys at the top of the order were a bit more reluctant to, maybe because the newer ball was just bouncing a little bit more steeply than the older ball, but Milan seems happy to take it on now.
Cummins bowls and wide of the
Whoa.
crease. Then I was just about to say that he's got him twice. Are they going to review this? It cut him in half and nearly bowled him, I would think. I don't think they're going to review.
I think that's an appeal more based on the ball than the.
That happens.
Oh, please use another review.
No,
No.
don't, because you know what happened last time. When he gave it. I mean,
Here's the replay. Does get a bit of bounce, goes between bat and pad, and actually flicks for
Yeah.
5. That would be the reason they all went up.
No, it's out.
Yeah, so you think it nicked the thigh, but actually,
actually-
conclusively.
Well, what you don't want is a little tickle before it hits the thigh, but of course they haven't got the right camera again, so you can't see the hot spot on the inside edge.
What, like the last time?
Nah, they're playing on. Here comes Cummins, bowling round the wicket to the left-hander, and that's easily played back down the pitch. Shorter length ball, just played back nicely to extra cover. Quiet passage of play.
It's all feels a bit phony war here.
Which
Yes,
is
we-
ideal for England.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ideal for England.
Well, no, the ideal would be to be pushing
Yeah. I
pushing
suppose,
on
yeah,
and bare
plan A,
stow,
yeah.
maybe flowering, but I'm happy. I mean, and I'm sure Jeffrey's
Yeah.
happy. So Jeffrey's happy. We have to be happy.
I think you can restrain the push a little until maybe Lyon and Marsh come on. Woof. Because Cummins can bowl with genuine pace here.
And Milan has been, got twice by him. So he'll be very careful. He doesn't want to get out for another.
I think what.
In fact, here they are from the Adelaide match, inside edge, and then I think in the second innings he bowled him.
Why guys who I've spoken to are out there at the moment with Cummins facing him, obviously Stoneman, and folks said, some of the guys have said, some of the batters said, it's hard to pick up his action.
Interesting. Okay. Here he is again, bowling from wide of the crease, and it's a short ball, and Payne takes it well, leaping away to his right, and Milan does the necessary ducking.
And I've heard that from people who play state cricket as well against him, overseas prod or whatever here, that because he's quite whippy, you lose sight of the ball, and that makes him a little bit more difficult to handle. So even though he's obviously very quick anyway, but that loss of sight of the ball makes it a little bit even. You don't have
Gives
the
you
normal
even less
cues,
time to react,
even less
yeah.
time to react. So I think that's
a
why.
bit like a Willis maybe, or a
Yeah.
well, Malinga is obviously a slightly
Malinga,
different
yeah.
kettle of fish.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Slingier.
Much
Sean
slingier.
Tate.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Tate was a lot slingier than Cummins.
I faced Malinga before, and it looks like his arm's going to hit the umpire at any stage. And you kind of think, how have you not hit the umpire, and how's it now coming at me at
really off
85 plus miles an hour? It's ridiculous.
I miss Sean Tate. I liked him a lot.
I liked him very much at the Oval when KP was doing him in after lunch on the 5th day.
Yeah, and that.
God, he was hitting it far, wasn't he, that day?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This next one is a half volley, and Bairstow doesn't really connect, just pushes it down the ground to mid-off. No run. 217 for 4. And 64, Bairstow 33. This is a good partnership.
Yeah, but
up to nearly 100.
It was a common theme, isn't it? That we've been competitive, just forcing home the advantage that we've worked hard to achieve. Like, this is a good position for us to be in. Can we now, ram home that advantage and make it a strong day, a strong whole day?
And
for
then
England?
back it up tomorrow morning
Yeah.
with some more batting. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the key, isn't it? Really, we've got to get, I think, close to 400 to
Oh,
really
absolutely.
put pressure.
Absolutely.
It's a problem that's been kind of endemic for England over the last year or two. I mean, you look at the recent series overseas, especially in Bangladesh, to be getting into very strong positions, getting into good positions, and again in the summer against against South Africa, you're getting into good positions and then letting it slip away, not pressing home that advantage. It's
Not too many batting collapses.
Oh, by far.
Bairstow, eagle-eyed, looking through his grill with his ginger
That's
beard
well played.
bristling, and that's just nicely ducked, very easy, hands in the bat, well away from danger, and almost a wasted ball.
Oh, Moggs just sent out another nice tweet at Guerilla Cricket. Also, stop slandering the umpires for how long it took to do a Stoneman wicket. It takes a little bit of time to engineer the CGI. I do like a cynical, sarcastic tweet.
Got a point. It's the first time a real-time sporting event's going to be nominated for a Best Effect Oscar, I believe. Golden Globes coming up.
Stark again, and that's pushed forward. The pitch looking a lot more placid now. It won't do when the new ball is taken if they can keep Hazelwood and Stark fresh.
That is a odd-looking wagon wheel for Johnny Bairstow. Pretty much everything's been scored in a 180-degree
in front of the wicket.
Thing from fine leg all the way around the onside.
Mine's the other way.
Mid-off.
Mine's the other way, behind square, so you know.
It's very odd-looking.
There's a big gap in his stance, isn't there, between in his grip rather, the top and the bottom hand, and he just pushes that one out into the onside. Mid-wicket comes into field. Is that?
It's not common, but I think that there's so many people that do that in world cricket that have succeeded. I mean, people come to mind: Graham Smith, Faf du Plessis, who really have a big gap between front and bottom hands, and they've made it work. I think it's just a comfort thing. If you can make it work, then it doesn't really matter as long as he's comfortable, relaxed, rather than.
Ultimately, you've just got to have the marriage between the two hands.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't
They've
matter
got to be
if they're a
working
little
together
bit,
and
another short ball from Stark, and Bairstow just pushes out into the onside. But it's slightly attritional, the cricket now. Run rate dropped to 3.24.
Speaking of Graham Smith.
What, attrition?
He was a supremely brilliant batsman, but God almighty, I hated watching him.
Pretty.
No.
You remember when NASA dropped him at Lords, having just given up the captaincy?
Yeah.
Scored 250.
Yeah. That was.
He just kills, man. That's what he does.
Yeah, he does.
He
yeah.
absolutely destroys.
Didn't NASA also say Graham who? Start the series, wasn't that his famous line?
That does sound
before he
right.
averaged.
Before he averaged
300 probably for the series.
It was. I still get flashbacks to the Amler 100.
Milan is pinned in front, but I think he might be just outside the off stump. They might think about reviewing it, going over the top. Smith's having a. Smith wants some action. You might well review this, knowing Smith.
Nonsense man, has he actually done
he's decided not to. He's learnt the lesson from Adelaide. He doesn't want the Barmy Army to give him more stick. They have reviewed it. No, he hasn't learned his lesson.
No.
Well,
I think not out. It'll be umpire's call on whether it's out,
height, I think.
height and possibly in line.
What's happened? Did he? Yeah, it's been reviewed. So we'll give you one
Here
of these.
It's a fair delivery.
That was definitely out. Was that definitely out? I don't know.
Fair delivery, ball swinging in, hitting him. Ooh, that's hitting him in line, but that'll probably go over.
Definitely too high.
Unless
it's above the knee roll.
We've had issues today. We've had issues today. I'm not gonna lie. We've had issues today.
He's right up on his toes. It would surprise me a lot.
High was the feeling that I had.
Yeah, look where the stumps are. It's about a foot above the stumps. I reckon this should be 4 inches at least above the stumps. Here we go. Nothing on hot spot. There's no inside edge.
Australia have been particularly bad at using their reviews.
Steve Kellett, sorry, just quickly with a tweet. There's a problem with the YouTube coverage. None of you appear to be fat. Camera trouble? ? Yeah, we're about to say. Just wait till the changeover.
Here we go. Impact umpire's calls are not out.
Missing.
Wickets missing as well. So on both counts, Review lost. Australia have succumbed to their.
You cannot be serious! Yeah, on initial viewing, it just didn't look high, didn't look right.
Yeah, chalk flew up. Anyway, Milan is.
Sterling!
Milan survives on 64.
Is
England and Australia both have 2 reviews remaining. Well, how?
Is that a Paul
Oh,
Sterling
that's because
drop?
it's umpire's call. So Australia
Yeah, that's
keep.
how Paul
No,
Sterling
it's gone
dropped.
down to 1 now. Yeah, so Australia have lost a review. Next ball is left by Milan, and Cummins hasn't looked as threatening in this second or his third spell.
Paul Sterling! I have to message him and say I found a place that has a drop especially for you.
I know at least one person who's had that as their text tone
Really?
when they've gone to see when they've gone to see him play.
Okay, you might have to send me that.
Yeah, sure.
Next time I see him, I'll play it for him.
There's also this one, which is one of the greats.
Gautam Gambhir.
Who was it? I think it was Tim Bresnan.
Here's Cummins, and
well
Milan just pushes down into the
He's well
gully.
bowled.
85 miles an hour, not at his quickest.
Tim Bresnan was tweeted his rather long jingle a couple of months ago, and listened to it and was tweeting about it. Was quite enjoyed it.
Nice.
It was on the election night. Yes, it was. It does contain the line "He used to be fat,"
And he liked it.
which I think rhymed was being rhymed with, and he's from Pontefract.
Oh, it wasn't Gat. It could have been
No,
Gat.
it could have been Gat.
Another bouncer there, and left alone, just ducks down easily.
He's got a good sense of humour, Tim. That's got a very good sense of humour.
Fortunately. And we're having a change at the end of this over. 2 balls left from Pat Cummins. England rocket along. They appear to be having some kind of consultation.
Lying on his own while the team are huddling for drinks.
Well, it's a lonely life being the spinner.
He's warming up.
Looking like the red angry bird.
Well, 2 balls to go this over. I'd just like to thank Guerilla Cricket for giving me a shot at this wonderful stint
Yeah, me too, actually.
in
I'll
this
second
environment.
that. Been a great day.
Been good fun.
I'd like to thank Guerilla Cricket for being therapy for me for the last 5 years. Allowing me to
Okay.
swear at every single international cricketer.
Yeah, having a little bit for every single international cricketer.
This night's gone extremely fast. Cummins 1 for 55. We've still got one ball left of this over, and it's Milan facing up. Cummins bowls, and Milan is forward comfortably down to mid-on. And that's 2-1-7 for 4 after 68 overs. Time for a change.
Guerilla crickets. Whoa. Guerilla crickets. Whoa. Guerilla crickets.
We're back, so Ian Pearce with you on commentary, ball by ball, not Fred.
Hello.
Doing jingles, and Jason on the tweets.
Hello.
Hi, so shots of the Barmy Army in attendance, all no shade there.
No, it's there are going to be some pink faces over the next few days. What, has Aaron lost his phone? Oh dear. Yeah, 217 for 4, and this is a decent partnership after the Stoneman wicket, and they're getting themselves into a not decent position, but a comfortable position, I think.
That's right. I mean, it's could all be quickly undone, but they're doing well. We're going to have a change of bowling. Nathan Lyons coming back into the attack. He's bowled 15 overs so far. 4 maidens, none for 38.
I'll have his jingle after this ball.
Yeah, so he's ready. He's going to be bowling right arm over, and it's just tucked around the corner, backward of square, and Johnny Bairstow jogs through for 1.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
The goat in the jungle. Yeah, England have played him pretty well. I mean, there's not a lot of help for him in this track as yet, but considering the number of wickets he's taken so far in the series, I think they've played him pretty well. Kiss of death, isn't it?
That's right. As Milan advances to that Nathan Lyon bowling, that's a beautiful on drive. It's raced away to the long on boundary for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Yeah, beautiful shot there. Milan just comes one pace down the wicket, meets it.
Didn't hit it too hard.
And it was all timing, that one. And yeah, flown away. And Mitchell Stark, building at mid-on, was just on retrieval duty there.
Have either of you been to Perth?
No, I've not been to Perth.
No, I've never been to Australia at all.
Milan bowls, and it just... Milan bases, sorry, from Lyon, and it just plays out on the offside for one. Yeah, I've been to the Gabba, I've been to Adelaide Oval, and I've been to the SCG, but never on the Wacker.
The straight boundaries don't look all that long, do they?
No, it's quite square.
You're right.
It's very wide.
Boxy. So, wide boundaries square the wicket, and
yes.
short boundaries. It's like that ground in
Unlike
New
Adelaide,
Zealand,
which is the other way round, I think.
Is it New Zealand? One of them has got very, very short square straight boundaries.
Lyon bowls, and it's just played out by Bairstow for one. Is it
Eden Park? Eden Park, yeah.
Because obviously that's basically a rugby ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than a...
That's where I seem to remember commentating on Martin Guptill getting his 200.
Guppy's 200.
Lyon bowls to David Milan, who is 69 not out. It's played straight back to Nathan Lyon, and it's David Milan's highest test score to date. Beating his previous best of 65 against the West Indies. Lyon again. Milan comes down to meet that, pushes that firmly to a sort of shortish long off, if that exists.
Deep mid off.
Yeah, or deep mid off, and he gets one, so he'll retain the strike. End of the over, 225. 4 tweets, Jason.
Pofferman comes in and says, I despise this umpire's call doesn't count when counting reviews. Encourages more reviews but fewer clearly defined ones, slows the game down, and doesn't help us give more correct umpire's decisions at all. And then Dave Wood says, as I recall, Bresden was insistent that he was still fat after hearing his jingle.
Yeah, he did. Well, I think he was fat, then he lost some, and then by the time he heard his jingle, he was fat again. So,
and then everyone Wang Chung Tony, great name, says, see, England, using your feet to the spin is good.
That's right, yeah, that was a beautiful shot
and
from Milan.
Finally, Liz Yates, our very own Liz Yates, says, when I saw the rotor, I wondered who you all had coming in. Awesome job.
Thank you very much. So Pat Cummins starting, right arm round, bowls to Darren Milan, who just defends. There's a fielder coming in to field, no run.
Yeah, 225 for 4. We've got 10 overs, 11 overs till the new ball, and 20 overs till 21 overs till the end of the day.
I'd say it's a good recovery job, but I'd still say it's like 55-45 Australia at the moment.
Yes, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, they've always got that new ball up the sea. As that's a lovely shot, cut away through the third man before by Milan.
4 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Messages has come back, says, Wacker dimensions are very similar to the oval. F of a lot hotter though.
Well, the oval's dimensions have changed dramatically over the years.
It's shrunk quite a lot.
Used to be the largest playing area, and then they put that just ugliest stand in world cricket there at one end.
I have played on a bigger playing area than the oval. There is one in Surrey.
Oh, right.
Okay. Milan comes into bolt, and why again? Apologies, everyone. I'm getting completely muddled up.
Milan is not bowling.
Cummins bowls to Milan. He leaves that one alone outside off stump.
I'm sorry if you've just woken up and you know that England won the toss and batted, and now Milan is bowling. That will give you something of a heart attack. But no, he's batting and batting reasonably well. We're seeing Marsh drop a fairly comfortable catch at slip off Stoneman.
I wonder if this ground is one of those poor sighting grounds like
Or maybe just
Headingley
Mitch
and
Marsh can't catch.
Well, I'm hoping it's not Mitch Marsh can't catch.
And Cummins to Milan, and that one's well wide of off stump, and he drives at that one, and it just goes one. It's hit hard, it's hit firmly, and he goes to 75. Bairstow's the other man on 35.
And the full toss asks, why have Guerilla Cricket been banned from Facebook? What a shame. Well, if you want to know all the details, talk to the bear and then tell Facebook.
Yeah, we are available on YouTube, though, so if you want to watch us talking, which is a fairly niche market, I would have thought, but you can go to YouTube.
As Cummins bowls a short one, and that's ducked underneath by Johnny Bairstow. Tim Payne gathers about sort of chest height.
Yeah, that's at 84 miles an hour, which is Jimmy Anderson pace.
Yeah, that's down on what he was bowling earlier, which is understandable. We're sort of in the post-tee session. Apparently not as hot as it can be out in Perth today, but still testing if you're coming in for your third spell of the day. So Bairstow waits with his high back lift, facing down Cummins, who bowls, and it's just played out on the offside. A diving stop, which is half stopped by the fielder there, and there's no run.
And that will be drinks, I
Yeah.
believe. Let me just run through a list of donors whilst we've got a couple of minutes. These are people who have how much have they donated? Is it
£2 a month gives you undying gratitude,
yes,
and £10 or more a month gives you a regular shout out.
And part of the regular shout out will be this. These people have donated at least $10 a month. Kiwi Cali, mydestination.co.za, Mark Cork, Daniel Orcan, Ant-Man 1986, Mike Mehal Wood, Matt Searle, Andy Inbrum, Clovis the Apostate, Tim Chow, Kieran Campbell, Christian George, Ben Ingham, Peter Condilis, Jeff Hughes, Oliver Spence, David Meggers, I think that says, Leslie King, and Gareth Alexander Pass, amongst many others. We will over the course of the day read out the people who have donated us money, and if you don't already donate us money, or if you do and you want to donate us more, go to either patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket, or you can send us a PayPal donation at guerillacricket@gmail.com. All donations are gratefully received and will keep us bringing you high quality coverage of all international cricket involving England and other teams as well. So that's the drinks break. So we've got an hour and probably an hour and a half till the end of the day. And if England can get through this without... Well, okay, I'm not even going to say it. You know what I mean. It looks a reasonably good batting track. And it was a good toss to win. Have we got any tweets?
Yeah,
James?
we've got some tweets about our lack of Facebook Live action. Especially Andy Brum saying, because Facebook decided that Sony was right, that a bunch of people talking about something on the TV only they can see or hear is copyright infringement. To which the full toss replies, killjoys.
Yeah, well.
And James Blacknell, going back to the actual game, says, it's a shame it's taken 3 tests to do this, but not bad so far. Talking about England's batting.
Yeah, probably Bairstow coming in ahead of Moeen Ali.
Yeah, perhaps.
And Knuckle comes in with something about Hanscom and slip catching after this ball. Or are we?
No, we're having replays.
He just says Hanscom had been fielding at first slip. Looks like it was a straight drop there as well as at number 6. I've seen Mitch Marsh take a few flyers, especially at gully. But I think they've got a different specialist gully for the national side, whilst Mitch Marsh hasn't been in the team. Lyon builds quite a lot at gully, doesn't he? Gully or point.
There's Kawaja as well. It's normally Kawaja, Warner.
Well, you want Kawaja in a static fielding position if you can, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because he's not the quickest across the ground ever, is he?
No. So they're just showing highlights of the Milan and Bairstow partnership, which is actually worth 99. So they came together at 131 for 4, and things were looking particularly dodgy for England. They've steadied the ship, but there's still a lot more work to do. Bowlers, Mitchell Stark's been slightly expensive, 2 for 62. He's going at almost 4 and over. but who did he get out? He got Cook and Roots, so that's not too bad scouts to have.
He would take that. And England are going at, what is it?
3.2.
3 and a third.
It's a healthy rate per over.
Yes, it is, but it's a quickest scoring ground, as fast tracks tend to be. It's not as fast as it was historically, but it's still pretty quick.
That's right. So Lyon starts the new over after the drinks break. He bowls to Darren Milan, who just defends out on the offside. So there's no run.
70. I'm not dividing 230 by 70, but 210 would be 3, so it's about 3 and a third.
Yep. As Milan advances to that delivery from Nathan Lyon, he doesn't quite time it, and it's just pushed to Mitchell Stark at mid-on.
And that's the 100 partnership.
Yeah, well done. So, yeah, one more to the total. 100 between these two, and it's coming at a strike rate of just above 50%. I think it's taken 196 balls.
Yeah. How far away is the new Perth ground from the old one?
I don't think it is it in distance, or how far away is it from being ready?
I think we can see it on the background.
Is it right next to it, like the Sydney ground was? And they tend to build new stadiums next to old ones.
There is a trotting ground next door, but I think it's
the other side. Yeah.
Elsewhere.
Lion bowls. It's just tucked around the corner, and sort of backward square leg goes over to field that one, and there's one more to the total.
Way Pom Pom says the Gabba can be good at cracking up. No cracks yet though. So obviously hoping.
We've not seen the Gabba for a while.
Yes.
Lion right arm round. Milan drives through the offside.
Lovely shot.
Brilliant shot through the covers. All timing again. He moves to 80. So 35 boundaries in this innings and the 1-6. So boundaries sort of come in at a rate of 1 every 2 overs, which has helped the scoring rates as Milan slightly falls over that one. He just pushes it to mid-on.
Yeah, it's the drift of Lion that slightly defeated him there.
Yeah, he got a bit tangled up with his feet.
Yeah. Which is, his footwork's been pretty good thus far.
That's right. You sort of see him sort of commit, but not overcommit when he comes down as Lion bowls, and he just tucks that one towards square leg. They run 1, and because there was a fielder nowhere near that, they're able to run a comfortable 2. So Milan's uncharted territory all the time, 82 not out.
Yeah. As we're watching some children fooling around on the boundary edge. Messi Jez doesn't seem to be bemoaning the death of the whacker.
He's quite happy, I think, that it's gone.
Other people are a little bit more sentimental about it.
I mean, we had quite a lot of tweets earlier agreeing that it needed updating and saying how sort of poor the facilities were. People are sort of sad to see it go, but they're equally not.
If you actually read his article that's on our website, it says it's as long as you're a corporate viewer or
got money to pay for shade, a seat in the shade, then
then it's fine. But for the average Joe, out in the sun, in the heat, it's not so fine.
No, definitely not.
We've been followed by Will Southworth, by the way. Welcome.
Hello, Will. Good to have you with us. So we got
also Sumon 96.
A new bowler, Mitchell Marsh, is replacing Pat Cummins. We'll do his jingle after this delivery as he bowls. Johnny Bairstow drives that through the offside. Going to be a chase for the fielder, which he's going to win, and that means that they just complete 2 runs. 3. No, they got 3 there. Sorry.
I think Mitchell Marsh will be having a word with his brother about his fielding there.
Yeah, Sean Marsh.
Not for the first time in this innings. He dived over one earlier, didn't he?
I mean, it was a long way from out there.
He also shepherded one to the boundary a bit earlier as well.
Yeah. Here's Mitchell Marsh's jingle. Oh, it's long.
Mitchell.
Mitchell Marsh bowls, and Darren Milan pulls that one behind square, and they're able to run for just a single that time.
And a stand tall and twatted kind of frame. It's mighty White's fault. Daddy bowls me bats, but it's alright. He's no cocky ass, he's Mitchell man.
I think that's my new favourite jingle, as Mitchell Marshall bowls and Johnny Bairstow almost chops that onto his stumps. And relief all around, anguish on Mitchell Marsh's face, as very nearly the partnership breaker there.
Where's the old Mitchell Marsh one from Sherwood about he's not Reginald, he's not this one?
I don't know.
Oh, that was a good jingle. Let's see if I can find that.
Brian the Obnoxious says, Messi, you're lucky. It wasn't really hot today. Interestingly, it's actually more humid than normal, 52%. Generally much lower. So despite it not being too hot, you might be sweating quite a lot.
Yeah, so Marsh again to Bairstow, who just firmly pushes that one out the offside, no run. Get more on it than his previous delivery, which chopped down into the ground, went behind him, but fortunately missed his stumps.
And Beggingham says, morning chaps, would love to wake up one morning and Cook and or Root were still in or had got some runs. Looks like we've got a consistent number 3 though, sneaking off.
He's certainly consistent. Who would have guessed that was going to happen all series, apart from everybody who proffered an opinion?
As Marsh bowls, Bairstow just chops that through to mid-wicket, and there is one more, 243 for 4.
Brendan Stanton also comes and says, thanks for the great coverage. P.S. I informed Facebook of their stupidity. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
And anyone else who wants to do that, please do.
Yep, I'll be firing off my Facebook to them when I get to work, instead of doing some work.
Yeah, it's a bit of a holding pattern now for Australia with Marsh and Marsh bowling at one end. He's just there to bowl 10 overs and fill a gap, isn't he?
Yeah, and he bowls, and it's just one again that Darren Milan's got no interest in playing any sort of aggressive shot to, and defends that one, and that completes the 72nd over, 243 for 4.
Andy Ward says, morning guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Looking good on YouTube. Kick Facebook to the curb.
Absolutely.
And Josh Holland says, pretty sure I've written more of this paper during today's overnight cricket action than I have during normal office hours in the past fortnight. I'm not sure what that means about my work ethic, the cricket, or your commentary.
I'm not sure
It's
either.
our,
But
it's our commentary,
we'll
obviously.
take it as a compliment, whether it was meant as such or not.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's inspiring you to better things, or a good grade, or...
He may have just written
well, at least
gibberish.
it's keeping you awake, at least.
Yeah, it's keeping us awake.
Yeah, we're into that difficult 6 hour now, I think, as Nathan Lyon starts a new over. They just played backward of square where it's fielded, and there is no run.
Have we due a change on the hour, or I've lost track of this?
I think it is on the hour. There's going to be overtime, so there's going to be two more changes, I think.
Right. We'll let Hendo. Remember Hendo? He used to do this.
So Lyon right arm over bowls, and it's just played straight to mid on. Mitchell Marsh is the fielder there.
Yeah. You're right. It did look a bit shabby around the outsides, this ground. I mean, look at those collection of sight screens behind the bowler there.
And Lyon bowls again, and it's just played backward of the short leg fielder. But there's a man there to field. Again, no run.
You've got a bit of sight screen which has got adverts on it, and the rest of it just looks like it's been rigged up by somebody's mum, doesn't it? I mean,
it's jury-rigged plastic sheet, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been tacked onto a board of some form.
Lyon now, and Bairstow comes and attacks that one, and it's firmly pushed to deep mid on, where there's one run. Comfortable single.
Didn't quite get there, but didn't try and hit it too hard. He just sort of shoveled it out to deep mid on. But I'm not sure what this wicket is supposed to do. I mean, in the general scheme of things, if you're batting first, you expect to be bowling last. Is it going to break up and give something for the bowlers?
Possibly.
Apparently so.
That's bowls to Milan, who drives out through extra cover, and they come and complete 2 runs, 85 for Milan.
Good riddance to the backer, asks us. So who amongst you lovely people had David Milan as England's highest run scorer for the series? Well, he's not the highest run scorer yet.
No, but I think it was possibly Grubby that suggested that at the start of the series. As Lion bowls and just worked off the pads by Milan, but it's fielded and there's no run. End of the over. 246 for 4.
Tim Everything asks, has Facebook Live been cut out before? No, it hasn't. And who do I write abuse to? Alistair
Everybody.
Cook? No, you wrote it to Facebook and Sony, I think.
Yeah.
The 2 people who are...
A test match special. Send some abuse their way.
And
They don't get
Josh
enough.
Hollands asked a question which I think I answered in the last over. Is what time are we going to? Well, the scheduled play is 8:30 in the morning UK time.
No, 9:30.
9:30.
Yeah.
But they can go till 10 a.m. UK time.
Right. They were 7 overs short of the regulation at tea, so we expect them to have most or all of the extra half hour.
Might even be losing overs possibly if the pacemen come back.
Well,
with
they
that
will do
second
because the new ball is in due in 7 overs time.
Yeah, so Mitchell Marsh is going to start his 4th over, and he bowls to Johnny Bairstow, who plays out the offside, short extra cover fields.
Yes, they'll get 14 overs in an hour probably.
If we're lucky.
No sign of the cavalry who's supposed to be taking us off, but hey ho.
We haven't done half an hour yet, have we?
We have, yeah.
Really? Oh, it was flown by. So that's good news.
Yeah.
And Dallas Nash has tweeted us his exemplar text for sending to various organisations trying to get us back onto Facebook Live.
Oh, good. Thank you, Dallas. As Marsh is already again a shorter ball, and Bairstow just swings out the way of that one.
See, that was down at just under 86 miles an hour, which is quicker than Cummins has been bowling for the last couple of overs.
Yeah.
Which is a bit odd, but...
well, he's fresher, isn't it? I mean, this is only Mitchell Marsh's 4th over.
Yep.
Whereas
so.
Cummins, well, was probably treble that.
But it was like years ago when Shane Watson was regarded as the fastest of the Australian bowlers. He didn't look fast on the telly, but
he consistently bowled about 85 miles an hour.
Yeah. Marsh again. He bowls. It's just tucked round to square leg, and there's going to be a quick 2 there.
Well run.
And very, very poor throw. Put pressure on the fielder there, didn't they? To complete, in the end, a comfortable 2.
If you're listening in the green room... No, they're not listening in the green room.
All nodded off.
Has Hendo gone to sleep yet? He hasn't so far.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Hendo's back, eating a pastry. Who'd have thought that? Jason's staying there, and the 2 of us are coming off.
Okay, that's fine. So it's Tony and Hendo coming in. Marsh bowls, and it's just played out through backward point region for almost towards 3rd man, and they're going to run 2. There's possibly 3, but they've got no interest in taking that. So Johnny Bairstow moves to 45, and that's 250 up for England.
I'd like to know what the scoring rate is in the last sort of 5 or 6 overs. They seem to be scoring virtually every ball, which is good because they're taking advantage of the overs before the new ball to keep the scoring rate up. What's the Bear doing?
I think we got.
Bear is doing technical shit.
Technical shit.
I think it's a term.
It's better than doing Hendo doing technical shit.
As Marsh bowls, and Bairstow just pushes that one through to cover, but it's straight to the fielder there. So there's no run. So one more delivery from me. And I'm not sure if I'm on again until possibly Monday
Sydney.
morning.
Oh.
If
we go that far, yeah.
I'm on Sunday, and I'm thinking I may get to see us lose the Ashes.
Wouldn't be the first time.
So my final delivery of the spell, unless it's of course, the no ball or a wide as Marsh bowls, and it's just played in. There's a man at a sort of a wide, short mid on. He dives and fields. That's the end of the over, the 74th. 250 for 4. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Jason, Tony, and Hendo.
It's been too many overs on a little couch, and just like an old biddy, they need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa, change gon' come. Oh, yes it is.
Change has indeed come, but not on the pitch. Nathan Lyon continues bowling round the wicket to Milan, who's down the wicket, drives. He sort of checked the stroke as he pushed that out to a wide-ish long off and takes a very easy single. It's a nice round score, 250 for 4, isn't it? It's now moved on to 251 for 4. But we've been here before.
We have been here before. We were saying in the green room, weren't we, that you know, the old adage, add 2 to the score now when you've also got
253.
No, well, yes. He's over the wicket.
2 wickets to the score.
Bairstow allows it to come on and just runs it off the face, just opening it up.
Or even to lose one of these two would be a challenge now, because that new ball lurking.
Well, that's given Bairstow another single. He's moved to 46 from 100 balls. But yes, not only that, but we were talking about how England got to this sort of position against Australia in Brisbane, and then it rather all fell apart, didn't it? All out for 302.
It certainly did.
Here's Lyon back round the wicket. At least he's been kept thinking by these England batsmen. He's kept thinking there because that's played square by Milan and just dropped it neatly and ran through for the single. So constant changes of field because of the right and left hand combination. Just playing with Steve Smith and Nathan Lyon a little bit at the moment. Beautiful evening in Perth. We think the Fremantle doctor has arrived.
Yeah, you can see the billowing of the umpire's shirt there.
Indeed, defended into the onside, fielded by the bowler himself. Yes, absolutely. We were wondering about whether the Fremantle doctor will be allowed into the new stadium.
Well, they'll have to have a special gate or entrance for him, wouldn't they? Because it's such a big, round, closed-in.
Or maybe it'd be somewhere like
stadium.
the Brabourne in India, where it's got nice, big, airy parts at the top of the stadium.
Forward comes Bairstow, defends that, and also stuns the ball almost there underneath his bat. Excuse me. 253 for 4.
I wonder if Stokes ground has an equivalent of the where the wind gets in there, because I tell you.
Oh, is it cold up there?
If you've been there on a Tuesday night.
Well, I think Chris Steely has been recently. Pushed up to long on. They take another single.
You talking about Canterbury or?
No, I was talking about Stoke, the football ground.
Oh, Stoke
City's ground. What is it they say? Can you
do it?
What's
it called?
Can you do it on a Tuesday night in November in Stoke? You know.
Yes.
It used to be the Britannia ground, but now it's
Bet365, isn't it?
I think it is some terrible name, but yes, I've been. Victoria ground.
Oh, no, this is exciting. We've got a change in bowling.
Is definitely interesting.
Spin at both
unexpected.
Ends.
It is.
Well,
but a leg? Is he a leg spinner?
Yes.
A leg spinner.
Sorry, I thought you were going to.
Shall I very quickly get through some tweets?
I thought you were going to play us a jingle. That was all. I'd left you a bit of space. We'll come back to the tweets in just a moment.
It took me by surprise.
It's so surprising. It deserves its own jingle.
It does. I might have to sing it. Here he comes.
Now, I think this is a good move, actually, because he comes on instead of Mitchell Marsh. He could pick up a wicket with his particular brand of filth, which would be useful, but it also gets them through more quickly to the new ball, and that may be uppermost in his mind. He's over the wicket, it's down the leg side, and it's clipped on its way by Bairstow. Is he going to come back for 2 this time? I wouldn't chance it on Mitchell Stark's throw, and he doesn't. They just take the 1, 255 for 4.
Well, you know, he does have 17 Test match wickets to his name, and he took 3 of those against England at Lord's.
I know, that was a horrible afternoon when he came on and did that, wasn't it? It was,
So although they've gone for over 50, he can do it. He's gone after that. It's so wide of the off stump. He that's why tried he's to on. cut, and he was reaching for it. His bottom was stuck out in the opposite direction. It was a
That's
most
why it's a good
ungainly
call.
shot.
It's because players will relax
They
against
will.
him.
They will, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. I think it's... Psychologically, I think it's a very, very smart move. You know you've got a man who's on 87. He's going to, in the back of his mind, Dowd has got to be thinking, if I get some free runs here, I'll take them. Well, he's taken one there as he's cut it He did. way out to backward point. Nathan Lyon made quite good ground there to field it, and they get back for a second there.
They did.
Ah, okay. Cut that one a little bit better than the one before that he was aiming at. I mean, the last thing you want to see is Milan give his wicket away like that. He's in again. Milan is forward, pushing straight back up the offside of the pitch to the bowler. And there's no run. He's on to 89 now. And Dawid Milan, 139 balls. He got a bit of a working over when he first came to the wicket, but he's batted really well. Here's Smith giving this a lot of air, and he drives the full toss up to a deep set mid-off, and he's hit it so hard that he's not going to get a run for that. Well set field, I think, for that one. Yep. Well set field for the field. outside off stump full toss. Yep. He's coming in to bowl his final ball. Bowls to Milan. Milan goes back and nurdles that into the onside, and that is the end of the over. Let's have some tweets.
Tim Part says,
Tim,
as part of the Facebook for Argo,
oh yes,
Nanny State, and then corrects himself to Manny State.
Manny State. Yeah, it could be a Manny State, yes.
Cheap Steve asks us, can you tell me the website or address for a similar missive from me to Facebook, please? I think there's one on our Facebook page.
Yes, go to our Facebook page if you can, and we've put up what they sent us. And that well, it doesn't give you an address to send anything to Facebook. It gives you an address at Sony, who we are told are the people who've been complaining about us. Now, Mitchell Marsh is swapping ends. He's come off. He was relieved by Steve Smith, but he's been brought back. And he's going to be bowling to Bairstow, who's on 48.
Couple more tweets, quickly.
Yep.
Tim Part says, Watson was indeed the fastest to review every bloody LBW decision.
Very true.
And then Josh Robinson, our own Josh Robinson, says, Hendo never goes to sleep, he just has to rest his eyes sometimes.
That's very true. One slip and a galley for Marsh. In bowls, straight ball, foolish to Let's jingle him up, shall we? Bairstow, and it's pushed to mid-on.
This goes on forever.
Mitchell!
He was
fade it out.
born with a flawless Aussie name and a stamped on twatted kind of frame. It's mighty wide.
Mitchell!
Ball's turned into the onside and there's no run. It's the jingle that just keeps on giving. Go away!
Go away, Mitchell.
You know you can bring it down on the sound. Fade it and sound all sorts of professional.
Frame. It's mighty wide. Fall.
Here he is again, bowls to Bairstow. That's an incredible shot, but slightly risky, I would say. It was right on the top of off stump, and he played a late cut to that, jabbed it away down to third man, found the gap, and has picked up 4 runs. It's also brought him a 50, an 18th 50 in his 48 tests to go with his 300s. Excellent stuff. Now, if they put the volume back up though, and then that's going to mean we might have a few technical difficulties. 261 for 4 is the score, and England's fans beginning to find voice. 52 from 107 balls, 6 bores came together when England were looking a little bit on the rocks.
Play it cool, 50-50 fire and ice.
Oh, a little bit of Joni Mitchell, a bouncer bowled by Mitchell Marsh over the top of the batsman. It goes, no danger to him there. Any more tweets?
Yep. Phil Withall says, the Wacker doesn't have the den of depravity that is a swan at Stockwell on its doorstep.
Ah, yes, that's very true.
And Josh Robinson says, never mind whether you see the Ashes lost on Sunday, what happens here determines whether I'll spend 5 nights commentating on a dead rover from Melbourne.
Ah, true. Marsh in again. Full ball. Oh, really
What a
good
good
Yorker.
ball.
Just managed to dig it out. That was a heck of a delivery. Just expected for a moment to see the stumps uprooted.
Yeah, we're a bit behind on tweets.
He's looking for a little bit of reverse there, I think, but that ball looks very, very old indeed now. There's no shine on it at all, really. Yeah, let's try and catch up with a couple of tweets.
Pofferman says, England's highest individual score is, could we, dare I mention it, see a century? And then Mog says, look, if the Doctor wants to get into the new ground, he can buy a bloody ticket like everybody else.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough.
And then Mog says, Smith is certainly testing out the veracity of the old shit gets wickets adage.
Well, we're going to get a run here, even though the camera wasn't showing us that. We were looking at the crowd for some reason while that last ball was being delivered. It's brought a single for Johnny Bairstow. He's moved to 53, England 262 for 4.
And good riddance to Wacker says, so they pick a fifth bowler, and then Smith gives him 4 overs and then brings himself on.
Yeah, but he's now, that said, he's now brought him back at the other end, so that's sort of, you're overtaken by events slightly.
And Phil Withall asked a question. I just switched from listening to my phone to my tablet and actually went backwards 1 ball. Is this common?
Well, there
Time
you go.
travelling.
You're getting 2 balls for the price of 1 on that basis, I would say. So I think you should be giving us some money on Patreon. I should tell you that if you want to support our commentary, you like our commentary, you like what we do, and you think it's worthwhile keeping it alive, keeping us alive, you can go to patreon.com and donate on a monthly basis to us. We'd be very grateful because we are in desperate need of funding. Smith starts a new over, a loopy delivery, which is driven hard back at him by Bairstow. I suspect there's a few batsmen who would like to have the same ability to do that.
Yes, exactly.
Just go back 1 ball and play it again, it'd be fine.
He tickles this one away as
Well
it's
done,
angled
Johnny B.
into his leg stump. He's certainly going for 1. He says, no, I won't come back for the second because Mitchell Stark is down there and he's got a hell of an arm. Yes, you can go to patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket. We really do need your support. We have a lot of antiquated equipment now that's really running very slowly indeed. He's in again, bowls to Milan, who gets right forward, defends into the offside.
Yes, and that is just the commentators.
And that's just well, I say it's not just the commentators actually. But we really do need your help to keep going. It's you know, we have to do awkward hours, and it's not easy. But we love what we do. So this is chopped away. Beautiful shot by Milan. Mitchell Stark is running alongside it. He dives and pulls it back. Good piece of fielding. They've come back for a third, I think.
Yes, I think they did.
Takes Milan into the 90s to 92. He's within 8 of a first Test century.
Oh,
and Tony, it's been such an exciting day for you, Tony, hasn't it? You were living every ball out there.
I have been living every ball, while others have dozed.
Well, I would like to point out that I have not dozed
You
once
haven't
this
dozed yet.
evening.
No, you haven't.
Not once. So there
There's
you go.
still time during your
There is
commentary
still time.
stint.
Reaching for this one, Bairstow jabs it down past the man at slip. Usman Khawaja comes round to field. They got through for a single there. No, I don't think they did. No, Bairstow remains on 54. 266 for 4. 1 ball to go in this over, and we'll catch up with some more tweets. Sorry for getting a bit behind, but it's riveting cricket at the moment.
He
is Smith bowls, he goes back, turns it away behind square leg. Picking up singles really well here, these two at the moment. And that takes England to 267 for 4 at the end of the 78th over.
At Jollywood says, I couldn't take any more and had to go back to sleep. But it looks like order has been restored and the mess averted for now.
Yeah, I can't sleep when England are batting these days because you fear waking up and finding 5 wickets have gone.
Good riddance to the Wacker says, oh, so they're getting to flip ends. Even more strange. And
yes,
Knuckles
they
come
have.
back with conspiracy theory. The Bears' recurring role as Star's England correspondent has ravished the ire of rival broadcaster Sony.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's he scrubs up well on the start as the Bear, I have to say. I don't know what he does. I think he maybe puts some makeup on before he goes on. I know that's not the kind of thing you'd expect the Bear to do, but I don't know. He looks far too clean for my liking.
And Benningham sent a rather ranty tweet about Facebook.
Onto the back foot goes Bairstow, defends to extra cover, Warner Fields.
It's because when he's there, they don't get to see the bits of him we occasionally have to see.
No,
when
we
he's
don't exactly.
ferreting down under something technical, and we see all kinds of things
And we do.
we'd rather not.
The Bear is a man much better seen from the neck up, I would say.
And Tim Part says, I never knew Aggers was on the board at Sony.
Well, he could well be. He's blocked us. I discovered the other day when I saw a tweet and I
Or
just
was that
had to
just
try and
you?
read it. No, he blocked it was from the Guerilla account. We were blocked.
Second new ball available in 11 balls. Bairstow standing with bat aloft. In comes Marsh. Lovely drive up to mid-on, but wasted, you feel, in a sense, because he's set back and he's hit it too hard and he won't get a single. It was a beautiful shot, but nothing came of it.
And Dave Wood replying asked the question, maybe there are huge music fans and subject to the object to the bastardization and copyright infringements of songs via jingles. But
yeah, could be that.
Most of those are original works now.
They are. A lot of them are original works, it's true.
For which we do have the permissions.
Yes, I think we do.
And I prefer extemporization or improvement rather than bastardization, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
On our jingle writers.
Onto the back foot goes Bairstow, flicks the ball from just above middle stump to mid-wicket, and there's no run. 267 for 4.
Roger Melly says, I don't want to nobble the boys, but I reckon we're in the ascendancy now.
Oh, stop it!
We'll know for sure when the Pigster starts sledging us.
Well,
I think he's probably started already.
Yeah, I think there's probably been a bit of sledging going on out there. Certainly when England were under the cosh and there was a lot of short bowling going on, and poor old Mark Stoneman was finding it very hard indeed, but he did play some lovely shots as well. Here comes Mitchell Marsh into Bairstow, and talking of bouncers, he bowls in one, but he gets down very low indeed, and that passes over him without any great danger. Bairstow 55, Milan 92. Can you believe that? 2 England players above 50. Yes, and the promised land of 100.
We've nearly doubled our score.
Yes.
We have indeed.
The promised land of 100.
What is the punishment? Where did that come from? What is the partnership between these two?
I don't know. Was it 130 for 4? Was it 135 for 4? Something like that.
That's pretty good going. They're doing a nice job.
Marsh into Bairstow, who presents the full face of the bat as he gets right in behind the line of the ball and punches up to mid-off.
136 runs.
Josh Hazlewood is warming up, and that worries me slightly because he has this ability to come on and have little spells, doesn't he? Little good spells, picking up just 1 or 2 wickets here and there, and before you know it, the game's been turned on its head. Anyway, it's Bairstow awaiting the last ball of the 79th over, and he's in, bowls a short one, and he gets a bit of a muddle there, but in the end manages to jerk the top half of his body out of the way of the ball. It's 267 for 4, 1 ball to go before the new ball is due.
Ooh, and I should just say that coming to the end of the day's play and looking at the score, we're getting into GPL area now.
Are we? What's the low? I thought the lowest was about 338.
The lowest is 279.
Oh, 279.
And we're on
that's
267.
not a bad shout.
And they go all the way up to 330. So
that's.
Are you sure you're looking at the right thing? I'm sure the Bear said the lowest was 338.
Yeah, I was hearing that earlier, and I thought that's hugely ambitious.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
you sure you're looking at the right date?
I'll refresh it and get back to you.
Okay. A healthy run rate today for England, 3.38. And man primarily responsible for that is at the crease and waiting for the next delivery.
No, yes, you are right. That was the last game.
Ah, there we go.
338 to 383.
Oh, right. Well, we should be safe for today. There was only 20 odd quid in the pot. Smith is going to bowl the final over, and he bowls a full ball, which Milan digs out and back to him. I know you said he wouldn't want to be on 99 going into the new ball. Well, he's on 92 going into the new ball. He's in again, really tosses this one up. That's a tempter, but he pushes only to extra cover, and there is no run. So Milan's 92's occupied the crease for 145 balls. This is the kind of thing that Trevor Bayliss wanted to see. What we all wanted to see. He's in again, and this time he pushes back past the diving Smith, and it's fielded at mid-off.
Josh Robinson makes a comment, I can't sleep when Ed Benson's commentating, or in the next room, or in a adjoining county.
Yes. He's forward to this one, a little bit gingerly and watchfully as he pushes back to the bowler.
And Mogg says, hang on, when did you actually ask me if you could play my shit on air? P.S. I believe they would be considered parody songs and generally allowed under fair use provisions.
Oh, right. Okay, that's good to know. Reaching for this one, strokes it rather nicely to extra cover. And there's 1 ball to go before the new ball is taken. I think this is the last we'll see of Stephen Smith's particular brand of leg breaks.
Still think it was I wouldn't call it a gamble. It was a smart move to bring himself on, I've got to say.
Totally.
batsmen know they want to try and get runs quickly if they can. That's, Oh, and, well, and there is the prime example. Well, there's a full toss, a horrible full toss, way outside the off stump. He's reaching for it, and he gets a horrible thick inside edge, and again, a little bit lucky to survive that. End of the over. It was a maiden, would you believe? 267 for 4. Nervous 90s, and he's got 3 pace bowlers. Admittedly, at the end of the day, fired up to come in at him. Ooh, yeah, well, I think they will. Yeah, I don't think they'll be feeling the tiredness at all with that new ball in their hands. No, I don't think so. And as you say, they've got 3 of them can share it. On the plus side, and you know my nails, my sails are firmly nailed to his mast, as it were, if you'll pardon that expression. As a Middlesex man, I think he's dealt with some tests of character in this series.
Yes.
He's progressively got better. I've seen him knuckle down in a way that even for Middlesex he hasn't always
doesn't
done.
happen. Yeah, he's been a dasher for Middlesex mainly.
But now he's reaching another pivotal moment. He's on 92, but he's got a new ball to face. That's not traditionally his strength, I have to say. Well, we say that, but it appears not.
Hello, what's going on?
New ball is available. Mitchell Marsh is going to continue with a very ragged-looking old ball.
Is it that you're going to take 2 or 3 overs with the old ball still, and then only have 7 with the new? So they can have another go next morning.
Tomorrow, driven up to mid-on. I don't know. I mean, what
interesting
thinking, isn't it? We're thinking that they can't go past 10 o'clock our time, and it's what
Kohli's
now?
quite a Kohli quite likes doing that but
Keeping the old ball going. Yeah,
in
he does.
Indian conditions.
Yeah, but they're not going to get. I don't think they're going to get through 10 overs tonight anyway, whether they took the new ball or not. Unless having got through those overs from Smith, they've pushed the game on a little bit. What is the time? Anyone?
It's 25.
So they've got 35 minutes. They're not going to get through 10 overs, are they? This is down the leg side. do. And played fine, B. beautifully by Johnny B. And that's gone all the way down to the boundary. Mitchell Stark won't get around to stop that. It's 4 more runs. It's one of these.
In fact, yes, I've got 4. 1, 2, 3.
Quickly with a couple of tweets. Dutchbird Kate comes in and says,
hello, DBK.
Good morning, England.
Good morning, England.
Tough times in Perth, and shows us a picture of a blue sky at Perth.
Oh, yeah, it's terribly tough for you.
And Paul Freeman's replied saying, evening.
Evening.
We need to know, 1, did you find your flag?
Marsh bowls onto the back foot, goes Bairstow, defends up to mid-off.
And then 2, who's your latest Tinder Aussie? Do you have one in each venue?
DBK. And what about the jet skiing? Apparently he had great fun up north of Perth the other day. I'm not sure I'd go into the water in Perth these days, actually, because sharks. Too many Mitchell sharks. Sharks. I have done in the past, and then I thought, is that really wise? Anyway, here's Bairstow to face. Mitchell Marsh is coming in, and he bowls a short ball, which, well, it wasn't actually that short, and I was surprised that he ducked that rather than taking it on. It didn't bounce that high. Anyway, he did get underneath it, and it's gone through to Payne.
And Steve Kellett says, I just threw congratulations on your maiden century at Google Translate and requested that it be read into Welsh. Good luck. And he gives me the Welsh.
Dawid Malan. Well, the first thing is to get him there before we worry about anything like that.
Yes, I'm not going to jinx him by reading it out.
Well,
and he also says, Sony TV runs ESPN in India. I guess they must have the Ashes coverage out there. Yes, we took... Tony, you looked at that, didn't you, in the green room?
Yeah, Sony does. I didn't look at it was an ESPN partnership, but they definitely have the rights for broadcasting it. Turned into the onside, and there's no run. But the point is that we're not actually showing the cricket. We are showing on our Facebook Live, well, it's not Facebook Live, it's now YouTube, 3 rotund...
Careful, excuse
me.
Rotund?
Well, all right, 2 rotund and 1 very fit, one very fit man. Sitting in a room.
Lean, some of us it starts with F and ends in T.
Yes, exactly.
A lean, mean commentating machine.
Another short ball with your ducks under. I'm not quite sure what the point of this over is. It makes no sense to me. They're just wasting time when they could be using the new ball.
Well, it might be just to frustrate the batsmen. You know, they're very conscious they've got a man on 92, never made a test ton before.
So they don't want
playing. I think it's just a few mind games. He knows he's got everything to lose. He's desperate for those runs, and he'll be thinking in his head, do I go for the big shot? And I think, well, we're not scoring. They've got fresh bowlers tomorrow, and that whole theory has just gone out the window because they have now taken it. But I still think I could see their psychology.
Well,
I could see the psychology.
Okay, it could be because Mitchell Stark wants to bowl at a particular end.
Yeah.
and they want him to have the brand new ball with the first over with it. But do bowlers worry that much about that? If they get the new ball in general, maybe they do. Maybe there's a sort of hierarchy.
I think they do.
Anyway, Mitchell Starc is going to take the new ball, and he has a jingle that goes somewhat like this. Or maybe not. No jingle was forthcoming. 3 slips and a gully. Oh, maybe
Mitchell
Starc. I thought you were poised with your finger.
I was.
3 slips in the gully. Square cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg and long leg for Dawid Malan. He's going to Starc places those long, loopy fingers on the seam and prepares to come in and give Malan an examination. He's got an edge, and he's been dropped. I think first ball, and he's running now, looking to come back for a second. It looked to me as if the second and third slip maybe got in each other's way. Bancroft, was it? And who else? Another
Smith.
look.
No
it's a
footwork.
Genuine edge. He was, if anything, he was just trying to turn that onto the onside.
They
did. Bancroft has come across in front of Smith.
Yeah.
And he has spilled it. He didn't really.
If we look at it again.
Get his hands to that particularly well.
It was a terrific. It was a good ball.
Well, either of them.
Either. I mean, it's perfectly placed in one sense because it's between the two of them. But that's a let-off for England, and another warning about the dangers of these Australian pace bowlers. They've got a new cherry in the hand, and immediately they create a chance. Milan's moved on to 93. He's got down to the other end. Bairstow will face, and it's
jingle
Mitchell Starc, 2 for 63, coming over the wicket to Bairstow. Down the leg side. He tries to tickle it on his way, but makes no contact.
Give him his jingle now.
You can't win the Ashes without your best players on the park. So drop Mitchell Johnson and bring in Mitchell Starc.
Well, they spilled a few catches they should have taken today, Australia, haven't they? And maybe that's the difference. That's the difference between winning and losing. We always talk about catches winning matches.
Exactly. The Mogwaits with his latest tweet says, Mid-Marsh in, fielding quality drops to under 12 levels. Coincidence?
Well, you can't blame Mitchell Marsh for that one.
No, you can blame his brother, because his brother had a pretty poor fielding day.
Starc in again to Bairstow. Oh, horrible shot from Bairstow. He's just hanging his bat out. Maybe trying to withdraw it at the last moment, but oh dear. That wasn't good at all. 272 for 4. This is going to be a testing little period for England. If they can come through this tonight, then they will feel that perhaps they've just had the better of the day. But, well, anything could happen. We could lose another 2. We could lose another 3 wickets if Mitchell gets it right.
And he is getting it right so far.
He is indeed.
And 3 slips, hungrily waiting.
But hopefully, hungrily putting the ball down as well.
keep doing that.
Here he comes again. Mitchell Starc, although we can't see him because we're just got a close-up on the slips. He's in, bowls. Oh, he's turned Bairstow round completely, but he's got lucky. It's shot away off a leading edge through the gully region and down to the third man for another of these. Well, he's doing them with enough swing. I mean, this is what we saw from Mitchell this morning, or whenever it was. He's getting just enough swing to tempt the players to play into the onside and just get it slightly wrong. That was a horrible leading edge, really, wasn't it? But it shot away.
Well, it swung in and then it just nipped the seam and cut away very slightly to get the outside edge.
And he was trying to work it into the onside. Here is Starc again, bowling to Bairstow. Oh, another horrible shot from Bairstow. Drags the ball into his boot. And, well, 5 balls, and there's been plenty of action already with this new ball.
3 chances and 5 balls.
Pretty much. That's just a horrible shot. I mean, he closes the face completely. He doesn't get the foot anywhere near. It's just...
Well, I think that's a result of the last ball. He takes his foot and places it down the pitch instead of across the 2 of the pitch to counter the in-swinging balls that he's getting.
Yeah, but it's not...
But he gives a gate to go through now.
Yeah, it's not voracious swing, is it? It's enough, but it's... Anyway, he's waiting for it. Maybe it's the pace off the pitch as well. He's in. Oh, it was another lovely ball. That was a goodie. And he actually plays it well to get that deep in his crease and pushed out towards square cover. That's the end of the over, and it was a good one from Mitchell Stark. England 276 for 4.
And we've had a recommendation from Martin White, who says, when he's talking to Al Murray, I hope that's the real Al Murray.
What, the pub landlord?
The pub landlord. He says, listen to at Guerilla Cricket, Al.
Yeah, Al. Come on, Al. Come on, Guerilla Cricket, Al. And bring your bar with you.
Alec Patton also says, hey guys, made it safely to work. Let the tired grumbling at customers commence.
Oh dear. Well, he was threatening to bite. I was a bit worried about Alec last night. He emailed me and said, I think things at work are so bad I might bite a customer. Which is an interesting way of dealing with your customers.
And Mog also says, I can confirm that Dutchbird Kate has not yet approached me for any Melbourne liaisons.
Who's this says this? Mog?
Mog.
Well, it's only a matter of time, Mog. Just hang in there.
And then Dutchbird Kate herself says, no. to Pofferman about Tinder dates.
I'm sorry. I thought that was about Mog. Down the leg side, Josh Hazelwood starts a new spell. Flew through. It was well taken by Payne, had to be said. Should we do a Josh Hazelwood?
We can indeed.
Can we have a different Josh Hazelwood one?
I'll see what I can do.
There was a good one. We've had a good one. It's just got some good commentary on it as well.
Mog's one here. Is that the one?
No. The other one. Oh, I think it may still be in the other cart.
Have a look and see.
Anyway, never mind.
There's this one.
He once hits
that'll do.
keys wet as stumps. He must be good. Josh Hazelwood.
No, Jeff Perkins did a really good one. Oh, now that's really swung, and well, they started to go up and then they stopped. Maybe they thought it swung too far. Maybe they thought it was bouncing over, but that was a really late swing from Hazelwood, bowling round the wicket to the left-hander.
It's a bit of height, I think, and this is also a bit of umpire's call on line when it hits.
Oh, that's just...
it was high.
Once it started, it's just kept going, hasn't it? Maybe just done too much, really.
This ball is doing an awful lot.
It is.
That really did...
I mean, it looks like it's doing more than the first
new
definitely,
ball. Yeah, definitely.
But this is definitely a decent nut that they've got in their hands at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe time of day as well.
Hazelwood is in his 18th over, first of this spell. In again to Milan, and Milan goes forward and then leaves it. And great carry through to Payne, who takes it in rather flamboyant style. And I've been impressed with Payne. I was impressed with Payne when he came over to England all those years ago, and it's taken him a long time to, get a run in the team that he probably thought was never going to happen.
He had one horrible drop at Adelaide, didn't he?
Yeah, but he came back from that, didn't he? Got the important stumping, I think, sort of helped him. The stumping of Moeen Ali. And he batted well in the first innings at Adelaide, a very exuberant 50. Hazelwood in again, big swing, but beautifully stroked. That was too full. And Milan waited for it, and it runs across the greensword out to deep extra cover for one of these. So, on a sort of a ranking of 1 to 10, just how nervous are you, Tony?
I'm very nervous, actually. I'm very nervous. He's a likeable chap. Whenever I've had the odd occasion to speak to him, I spend a lot of my cricket watching hours watching him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a huge moment in his career, so I'm suffering every ball with him.
He strokes this one again, slightly shorter of length, but this time he finds a man in the covers.
And in a way, we've had a little bit of a microcosm of a Dawid Malan career, because we've had 2 or 3 that have beaten him all ends up and he's fished at, and then in the middle there is just an absolutely gorgeous cover drive. And there, in a nutshell, is the Dawid Malan career, I think.
But I do think on a pitch like this, okay, you're going to get swing, you're going to get bounce, but you do get value for just meeting the ball with the full face of the bat, don't you?
It's not the first time in his life he's been in whilst a new ball's been taken.
No.
But never at the whacker, never with your first Test century in
Probably
view.
not against this quality of opposition. Down the leg side, he's gone for the pull. Tony has a sharp intake of breath. Thought that Payne was going to appeal there for a little flick down the leg side. Yes, as poor old Joe Root got earlier. As we look at the wickets that fell, Cook was right back in his crease. A Yorker that got him, and Vince, well, how do you think Vince got out? Yes, a sort of check drive that was caught behind. Then Root trying to tickle the ball, angled into him, and tickled it too fine, and it was well taken by Payne. And then the controversy of the Stoneman dismissal, which, well, it wasn't really clear, was it?
Farce rather than controversy, I think.
Well, I've seen on Twitter that Ricky Ponting and Michael Vaughan say it was out.
Yeah, they say it was out, but they say it was out based on film that only became available after the third umpire had given his decision.
Ah.
So the third umpire didn't have the... let this occur. The third umpire allegedly, because I didn't have the tools at his disposal at the time, that they then subsequently
to overturn
had.
that decision.
Consequently, they were making a judgment on very incomplete information.
And that you shouldn't be overturning unless there's a compelling reason to do so.
Correct.
Pushed back down the ground, and just for a moment I thought that Bairstow was going to get some runs there, but it was only a defensive push, but across came Warner diving, and he missed it, or maybe just got a little bit on it, and deflected it towards the man at mid-on.
I do like watching Warner field.
I know.
Wholehearted is the way to describe it, I think.
Absolutely. He's fantastic. Great example. This one comes into Bairstow. He wants to go off with a quick single, and he's read it well, actually. Just for a moment, I thought there might be some problems, but it was quite a comfortable single, actually, because the mid-on was either not paying attention or was too far back.
Well, he was so quick that he made it easy for himself and also the other runner, because the fielder was left with no option to throw at the far end, which is longer to go.
Well, that's the 150 partnership. 150 partnership, or England in Australia, this Ashes. Good God. Good God,
he's
man.
also given Dawid the strike, of course.
4 balls he's got in this over.
Single. He's got 4 balls left then.
Yes, well, would he rather be placing Stark or Hazelwood in this situation? He's got Stark, who's the man. He's coming into him, bowls him a big full toss on leg stump, which, that could have flown anywhere, but as it is, it's gone straight along the ground to Josh Hazelwood at long leg. That could have been, well, I say, 10 yards either side of him, it would have been 4 runs. As it is, it's just a single. He goes to 98. He's putting you through the mixer. Tony.
I don't know. I'm thinking back to Watford against Plymouth in a semi-final at Villa Park. We were 1-0 up.
84, yes.
Yeah, 1-0 up, 92 minutes gone.
And then we were coming back at you and coming back at you. You just got out of it.
You see, you bring up Watford and Plymouth. We've got a Plymouth fan sitting to my left.
There you go. You see, what a coincidence.
Isn't that strange?
What
yes.
a coincidence.
Bairstow, 64, not out, waiting for Stark. Stark's in, drives, nice shot, beautiful shot to the left hand of the man at mid-off. That is going to skirt across the outfield rapidly into the boundary sponge. It's 4 more runs.
4 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Bairstow goes to 68. England to 286 for 4.
Right. We should get some tweets in at the end of this over if we can.
Absolutely. But the thing is, you don't have to hit the ball hard on this pitch, do you? If the ball's up there and you get your technique right, it's 4 runs every time, really. Lovely shot that was. Gorgeous. Must have felt good to feel that on the bat. Here comes Stark again. Bowling to Bairstow. Short ball. Oh, he's had a little nurdle at that. I don't know quite what he was trying to do there. It wasn't the uppercut. It was a rather hurried
back
cut
force.
Shot. I don't know what it was. I know he's now practicing the uppercut, but I think he got maybe in 2 minds about... Well, it just wasn't a very good shot, to be honest. But he's still there. That's the important thing from an England perspective. And this is probably England's best day since the first day at the Gabba. Yeah, maybe. Stark again to complete the over into Bairstow. Bairstow's gone after one that he really didn't need to. It was full. It was wide. And he'll just have to have a little word with himself there, because 2 really poor shots, the last 2 balls of that over. It's 286 for 4. Let's have some tweets.
Roger Mully says, another local boy drops a catch. I'll bet the parochial Perth crowd wish they could let themselves get pissed off about that.
That's a good point.
Gunnaroo, William Brown, says, fellas, expect Gunnar on Melbourne, waiting to drive my coach back to Ballarat. Can tell all the Aussies here to shut their Flintoff up. Here comes the mighty England fight back. 3-2, game on.
Well,
and
a long way to go.
Typing Shan says, is Hazelwood and Jeff Sessions' bastard son identical ears?
Who's got identical ears?
Hazelwood and Jeff Sessions.
Who the heck is Jeff Sessions? Starting a new over, it's the aforementioned Josh Hazelwood. This is short of a length, and it's tucked away into the onside, but straight to the man square leg, and there is no run. Milan on 98. He's within 2 of his first Test century. He's within 2 of the first England Test century. He's about to become, possibly, only the second member of this team to have scored 100 in an Ashes test in Australia. But then it could all go horribly wrong.
And then Mog's drumming up funds for us. He says, "Hey, Sultan Al-Qasimi, do you like cricket? If so, you should consider contributing funds to the excellent operation run by Guerilla Cricket."
You should indeed. Here comes Hazelwood again. Short ball, he's pulled it. Is that it? I think it's going to be 4. It's gone before 4. Behind square on the onside. David Milan has scored 100. He goes to 102. He gets a hug from Johnny Bairstow. The England fans are on their feet. They are applauding. He takes off his helmet. What a wonderful knock from him. And really well deserved, I have to say, because he's shown a lot of guts in this series, I think. People have doubted whether he was worth his place. But he's come of age in a way.
He has indeed.
In this particular form of the game. And Joe Root is absolutely delighted for him. He's out there on the balcony.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
He gets the next ball passed by harmlessly outside the off stump. What a knock that's been. 102 from 159 balls, 13 fours and a 6. It was a top edge 6, but at least he went through with a shot and it went flying over the top of the wicketkeeper. What a feeling that must be for him. He must be absolutely delighted.
Time for a reset.
Absolutely. Knuckle down.
Time for a reset.
Get ready for your second 100 in Australia, is what he should be saying to himself. But that's been a very, very fine knock, and just that one chance in the 90s. In comes Hazelwood over the wicket, and then he strokes this beautifully.
Lovely shot.
Lovely guidance with the bottom hand there. Warner's herring after it, but it's going to be too good for him. It's 4 more runs to David Milan. David Milan. 106 not out. This is the best innings by a Welshman since Robert Croft was in the team. I'm trying to think of a Robert Croft great. Is he not Welsh? He's slightly Welsh.
South African.
Yeah, I know, but he's got a Welsh name.
He's got a
he's got a Welsh name. Dawid. He's got a Dawid. He's called Dawid, of course. They let it slip. He's actually South African. Damn. Pushed up to mid-off.
Oh, by birth.
By birth. And there'll be no run. Hazelwood has now switched to over the wicket. And we're looking at his scoring areas, and it's pretty much everywhere, really. 20 behind square on the offs, 37 into the covers, 3 down the ground, 8 down the ground, 15 into the onside, and 26 behind square on the onside. And lots of pretty colours, of course. Any more tweets?
Yep. Nicholas Mills says, "I am from Plymouth, Beacon Park. Burley boy, welcome." Says a Derriford boy.
A bit of Plymouth bonding going on here. He's Hazelwood, short ball. He ducks under that one comfortably enough. And that is the end of the 85th over of the day. 294 for 4.
And we've got a multiplicity of questions from Venkatesh Natarajan. He says, "Your thoughts about Rohit's double? Who will be the Chelsea FC of Test cricket? Who will be United, etc., etc."
What?
I think the sad thing about Rohit's double is wasn't the entire country watching Virat Kohli get married.
Oh no! I thought it was I think the Virat Kohli was a very private affair, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but I think in terms of where the national media attention was.
Ah, okay.
You know, it was on the same day, so he was getting married to his Bollywood star, and poor old Rohit was racking up a double ton.
Just looking at the high scores by an England player in a Test match at Perth, and Milan comes on to 4th, 5th, 10th on that list behind Derek Randall, John Edridge, Alistair Cook in 2006, Ben Stokes in 2013, Thorpe, Brian
Luckhurst, my goodness me.
He was a hero of mine when I was a youngster.
A man of Kent, wasn't he?
Yes, indeed. This is a huge swinging delivery down the leg side, and Payne has done fantastically well to take that. He just seems to get better and better behind the stumps, Payne, to me.
Well, 162 was the top, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chris Broad.
Dawid, mate, there is your target.
There is indeed your
There
target.
is your target. And once you get to that, you've got to be thinking about the double.
Exactly. And once you got the double, you've got to be thinking about the triple.
And we've got to be thinking about a win, moving on, 2-1.
Yeah,
2-1 down.
Let's
Well,
not
I
get
think we
ahead
might
of
be getting
ourselves.
ahead of ourselves.
I think
don't
we
you?
might be. I think it'll go horribly wrong, even in the what little time we have left tonight.
Yeah, well, now that's crucial as well.
Bairstow it is, the right-hander facing Stark, who's finding a lot of swing, but that was off target, outside the off stump, left alone. Good pace from Stark, although it says 87 miles an hour. It looked quicker than that to me, based on what you see the Speed Cunt award some fairly innocuous bowling.
Did push that one across Johnny Bairstow, didn't he? It was quite a long way wide of him in the end. And
It was, but he's shown those last two balls of Stark's over the previous over. He went after them, didn't he? When he didn't really need to. I think it's that extra pace that just draws you in a little bit.
It is. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Andy and Bob says, I know the selectors are getting brickbats rightly for Vince's selection, but they've done all right with Milan and Stoneman.
They have, really. Although Stoneman's still got to
Touch wood.
convert into a big score, defended by Bairstow as he comes forward to a good length delivery. It's fielded at mid-off.
Just goes to show how much you need your slice of luck, though, don't you?
Oh God, yeah.
New ball, first ball by Mitchell Stark with a new ball.
Yeah.
And it's between second and third slip. They both go for it, make a complete hash of it, and Dawid's now on to 106.
No, you're absolutely right.
We could have been
right.
cursing his lack of application on 93, couldn't we? And
Yes,
what a different conversation it would have been.
I suppose a little bit. I mean, we'd still say it was a pretty good innings.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yes, there'd be that level of disappointment. Bairstow just leaning ever so slightly forward, peering through his grill. He's hit on the pad. I think that's going down the leg side. Please don't give it out. He hasn't given it out. Rasmus says no. In fact, he's...
saying, are you serious?
Yeah, he really is
quite
not...
interesting body language, actually, doesn't he, Mr. Erasmus? I notice he will shake his head if he's really going, guys, you're really not going to appeal this, because it is absolutely not out.
Totally ridiculous, yeah.
As opposed to the sort of the solid, just staring forward, doing nothing.
Yes.
That was missing leg by...
another stump.
Yeah.
At least.
And, yes, he's sort of...
Oh, he is. Just that shake of the head goes, guys, really, you're not going to review that one.
He's quite a cool customer, isn't he, Erasmus? I
He
think
is.
He's quiet. He goes about his business with a minimum of fuss. Here comes Stark again into Johnny. Oh, he's bowled in the Yorker, but it's a little bit too full, and it's gone flying off an outside edge through the slips down to third man for 4.
Now, here's the thing. We're talking about Marius Erasmus. Do you know where he went to school?
Barnsley.
No, lad. No, lad.
Grey College.
No, he went to the DF Milan High School.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
I was wondering if I get a chance to use that ridiculous fact.
Fantastic.
And
You
I
found
have
some great
actually
facts.
somehow managed to do it.
How long do you spend over your research? Because you've got a fantastic...
Honestly, it's probably a couple of hours per match.
Only
Probably
a couple
3
of
hours.
It looks like a lot more than that. I do a couple of hours sometimes, and I've only got about 3 pages. Down the leg side, he's held that on its way. He's going to get 1. Is he going to think about coming back for a second? He might, because he's very quick, and in fact, the fielder has slipped as he's tried to retrieve, and comfortable 2. It's 300 for England. 300 for
up as
4.
well.
300 for 4.
Do we have anything that resembles a we've just got 300 in
No,
play
I
thing?
don't think so.
No, I think you can play the 100 jingle 3 times very quickly, but we won't go
We
there.
don't have a...
Well, we need Dave back in to do that. He just
That's true.
He
That's
just
true.
backtrack them, wall of sound style.
Well, Milan has made 106. Bairstow has now moved on to 74. But there was some ferocious pace from Stark in that over. And that ball that went flying off the outside edge, it was so close to being an incredibly effective Yorker. But he just about got away with it. Here comes Dave. Here comes Dave.
Speaking of the devil.
He's been suffering a bit today. He's had the night nurse and the honey and lemon. So, but we all wish him well. He's going to have a quiet day today.
And some other medicine, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Oh, change of bowling. Off comes Josh Hazel.
is.
Josh Hazelwood. And we'll jingle up the new bowler.
We will.
He's
It's
coming in
going
to
be
bowl round the wicket to the left-hander,
first.
and it's down the leg side.
Here he is.
Paceman Pat, and his baggy green cap. Early in the morning, just before the warm-up, he has to pull out with a dodgy back.
Patrick Cummins.
I think we're only going to be 1 or maybe 2 overs short tonight because those overs from Steve Smith helped us get to the new ball much more quickly than we might have done. And we're into the 87th over now. We've got about 10 minutes to go. Forward comes Milan, pushes up to mid-off. And there is no run. England 300 for 4. They were 131 for 4?
Yes, I think so.
31 for 4, so they've put on 169, these two. By far the best partnership for
169,
England.
not bad going, is it?
In this series.
We've got a fair number of tweets to get through now. Abhishek Chopra says, is this for real Guerilla cricket? David with the W Milan has scored Test 100 in Perth of all places against Australia of all teams. Christmas come too soon.
Pushed up to mid-off again. Warner runs across the field.
And Dave Wood says, talking about Welsh innings, he says, you clearly forgot Simon Jones's last wicket partnership with Freddie at Edgbaston in 05.
That was brilliant. No, I haven't seen. I remember Simon Jones. He was quite a sort of hefty hitter of the ball, wasn't he?
And Josh Robertson points out, consistently out nicking off but driving the balls he doesn't need to, he may be, but Vince still has England's second highest innings of the series.
Ah, that's a good point. Here's Cummins again. Went very wide on the crease there, but it's defended by Milan on the back foot.
And Pufferman says, is it time for young Johnny Bairstow to hit some sort of milestone? I think the answer is no.
Well, 26 runs in maybe 3 overs. I wouldn't have thought so. I think he'll have to go to bed tonight.
I think the mission for
Dreaming
both of them is
tomorrow.
to play each ball on its merits, but be there tomorrow.
Be there tomorrow. Be there tomorrow.
Be there tomorrow. That's the
mantra
name of
they
the game
should be
now.
chanting to themselves now. 3 slips in the gully for Cummins. He's in, bowls to Milan. Milan's hurried as he goes onto the back foot.
Do you think Jimmy is in the shed somewhere with his pads on?
Oh, I would hope so. I really hope they don't send out Chris Wokes. That's a waste of a good batsman. To my mind.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play the night watchman card, then you put a proper night watchman in. I say. Anyway, back to the tweets.
Mog says, I believe we did a jingle by popular request for Erasmus Junior Summer.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And the Ghost of Zoob says, all commentators should bring in notes.
Yes, actually, a Zoob was Zoob. I'd love to see you and Zoob sitting next to each other. It'd be difficult to bouncer, and far too short this from Cummins, and Milan is right underneath it.
There is actually a structure to the way I do my notes, though, to be fair. It's not just random.
Not random noting.
No, it's not just random noting.
What is your structure?
Well, let's finish the tweets.
All right, then.
Good riddance to the Wacker makes the point that it's under 15 now from having the highest England partnership in Australia since the Trott-Cook partnership in Brisbane in 2010.
Is it really? Wow. That's 2 series. God.
Yeah, well, we were rubbish in 13 and we...
Well, yeah. But that's two Australian series since a partnership of this magnitude. 300 for 4, the score. That was the end of
87.
Cummins over. Milan has 106, Bairstow 74. Hazelwood will continue. He's about to bowl his 20th over. Figures of 1 for 57. 7 maidens in that performance. I don't know, I almost admire Hazelwood as the bowler more than the other 2 in this team. Full ball, another horrible shot from Johnny Bairstow. It swung away from him. He didn't move his feet at all. He hung his bat out. They got a horrible inside edge which could easily have come back onto the stumps. And you fear that one of those will do soon because he's had, well, 2 or 3 of those now. He has, however, got the single. Taking him to 75.
Swung away from him, didn't it?
It did swing away from him,
but reaching that much further.
He's reaching without moving his foot.
Yeah.
And it's also that strong bottom hand coming in and
sort of closing the face a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the scorecards. Stoneman 56, Cook 7, Vince 25, Root 20. 2 wickets for Stark, 1 apiece for Hazelwood and Cummins. Here comes Hazelwood into Milan. He bowls and Milan comes forward, leaving that one good length outside the off stump, and there is no run.
Good riddance to the back asked the question, isn't Cummins bowling massive back foot no balls when they're coming around a wicket?
Well, only if he's going wide. Only if he's going very wide and he is outside the return crease, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's bowling them.
I think he's close.
As
a number, I'll be looking like a hawk. But I think he's good.
Forward comes Milan. That's a lovely defensive shot that runs up to mid-off.
And Josh Holland sends in the tweet saying, I like this Channel 9 poll a lot more than the earlier one. And he sends the image of the screenshot from the TV which says, who holds the upper hand on day one? Australia, 18%.
Oh.
England, 82%.
Well, I think 300 for 4 is a pretty... I mean, it's a damn good platform, isn't it? But they could still lose another wicket today, and then it changes things slightly.
It does.
Hazelwood in, bowls a short ball, which I thought for a moment he was going to pull, but in the end he restrains himself and then just leans back from the hips.
Mastered that leaning back from the hips, hasn't he?
Yeah, it can't be easy to do that. He must have to do a lot of sit-ups to be able to do
limbo practice.
Indeed. Highest fifth wicket partnership for England in tests at Perth, beating 158 by Ram Prakash and Graham Thorpe, which I witnessed in person, and it was a very good partnership. And that was a game that, I don't know, England could have won. There was an LBW decision against Mark Taylor in Australia's second innings. Full ball driven, beautiful shot, straight down the ground by Milan. 4 more runs.
I think we have one of these.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Lovely, lovely shot. Takes him to 110.
That was Kate.
Oh, was it?
That was Kate.
I didn't see her.
She was. Yeah, she was there.
We saw her the other day, didn't we? At Adelaide, wasn't it?
What?
We saw her in the crowd.
Yes, with a very large man in front of her.
That's right. We couldn't see a lot of her because the way to her was blocked. But that's a lovely shot from Milan. Yeah, there was an LBW shout. I was right behind the bowler's arm against Mark Taylor in the second innings of that game. And it was as plumb as it could be. And it wasn't given. It was shocking.
No reviews in those days?
No reviews in those days. But I mean, the straight boundaries at Perth are quite short, so you're quite close to the action. And it was absolutely plumb. Hazelwood, anyway, gets underneath this one as another bouncer. I suppose I shouldn't be sort of moaning about decisions from, 22 years ago? Yeah. But these things do stick in your mind. 305 for 4, Milan 110, Bairstow 75.
Martin White, on the subject of no balls, says, umpires can barely bother to call front foot no balls these days, never mind back foot ones.
Yep, that's very true.
That always baffles me, I've got to be honest, why, bowlers seem to get away with it more than they should.
They don't get away with it if I'm an umpire.
Stickler. You're a stickler.
Quite right, too.
I'll tell them they're getting close before I actually give them an actual no ball. But
what? Even if they actually bowl a no ball, you will then...
I'll tell them that if they're getting close, I will warn them before they actually bowl one.
Cummins outside the off stump, far too wide, left alone by Bairstow. And Cummins does look a little bit tired, actually, I have to say. That was wide of the off stump, but it was only around 84 miles an hour. So maybe... Well, it hasn't been an scorching day in Perth. It's only been about 24, 25 degrees, but warm enough.
It's just good
humid. A little bit of humidity as well today, apparently.
It's just good game management, and most bowlers who have a propensity to bowl back foot no balls know they have one, and actually appreciate it.
I can't think of when I've seen in any match I've played or watched where a back foot no ball has been given. In he comes again, bowls, and it's defended on the front foot by Bairstow, square to Nathan Lyon at cover.
And we've got a idea for a jingle from Phil Withall, who says, tenuous, but I'll make a man out of you from the movie Mulan seems rather act. Yes, I'll get my coat.
I don't know that one.
I'm sure we had a Mulan jingle for Mulan at some point.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we might have done. Was that a sort of spoken word one?
We have the one which is just, the one we've only got one that we use at the moment that I can find on the
and
jingle
Colin
deck
Rosenthal says, just check the scoreboard and I'm amazed to see that Bairstow has rattled on to 74 while I'll be holding my breath for Milan's ton.
75, actually, and he's had a little nibble at that one, back of a length. It's gone through to the keeper, so Bairstow's, I think, okay, hasn't actually been dropped, but he's threatened to drag on 3 or 4 times, and he's played and missed at a couple. He's gone after balls that he didn't really need to go after. But he's survived, nonetheless. There've been catches have gone down today, of course. A couple against Mark Stoneman before he was finally out, a little bit controversially.
One, obviously, Lyon's diving forward catch that he didn't quite get to, but I think
Mitchell Marsh at slip.
Mitchell Marsh at slip, and then obviously Milan's drop.
Oh, yeah, 3 in all, yes. Sorry, I thought you meant about Stoneman. Left on length completely by Bairstow there.
Brave leave.
It was a brave leave, but also a well-judged one. 305 for 4. We have 2 balls remaining tonight. We won't get the final over of the day that's due because the clock has ticked on past the hour. Cummins has figures of 1 for 60. We're going to have a look at that one again, I think. It's a very brave leave, isn't it? Because it's a good length delivery.
Rising, certainly rising.
You expect Cummins is a tall man on this pitch to make the ball bounce. Here he comes again. Trying to find that little bit of extra energy at the end of the day. Bowl's full and it's squirted away off a thick inside edge by Bairstow straight to square leg. Nathan Lyon. Is that Nathan Lyon or is it? I think no, it was Sean Marsh, was it? It does the fielding. Not been a successful day for Nathan Lyon. Hasn't taken a wicket today. He's been well played, especially by Milan. He's used his feet quite well.
Cummins gets the award of the 3 fast bowlers, I think, for the most authentic fast bowlers trudge.
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
Both shoulders seem to rock from side to side. It's like every step is an effort.
Yes, you're right. He does sort of rock.
But then
and
he
roll.
actually is move to the crease is elegant enough. It's just the walk back from it that looks like a man who's walked about 30 miles.
Here he comes.
I think he's in a league of his own.
Into Bairstow, and Bairstow is forward, and I think he got an inside edge onto thigh pad. He turns, he walks, he wants to go, and he's going to be allowed to go. That is the end of the day. England finish on 305 for 4 after winning the toss and choosing to bat, and it's really been Dawid Malan's day. He's got his first century in Test cricket, the first Test century of the series for England. The only other player in this England team to have now scored a century in Australia. He's congratulated by Johnny Bairstow, who shakes his hand and then pats him on the back as the pair wander off together on a beautiful sunny evening at the Wacker. The first day of the final Test to be staged at the Wacker, which is sad in itself. But off they go, 305 for 4. Alistair Cook went early to Stark. Stoneman batted pretty well, got to 50 and then had a lot of trouble with the short ball, was eventually dismissed off a snorter, which, well, it wasn't compelling evidence that was overturned at all, although people who've subsequently seen the review from different angles say they think it was out. He went for 56. We lost Root, strangled down the leg side, and we lost Vince. How do you think? Punching at one outside the off stump, through the keeper it went, and he was on his way. But a marvellous partnership. This is worth 174. Took England when they were wobbling really at 131 for 4. And although there's been there's just the one catch that went down when Milan was in the 90s, they've done a wonderful job to take England through to stumps on this score. What do we think, gents?
I think England will be cock-a-hoop, probably, to be fair. I think these two have done a fantastic job to get us into a position of 305 for 4. I think Australia, drink pouring and goodness knows what else.
I want to bring in an interesting stat here that's been sent to us from DZ Down Under. He's quoting Deepu Narayan. He says, it's only the 3rd time England has posted 300 plus on the opening day of a Test in Australia since 1900.
Wow.
And the first since the MCG test in February 1966. I mean, that's Zolt's level statting there for you.
Well, we were talking this morning, weren't we? We were talking about the fact that if Australia were to win this Test, and in fact win this series, though they would, if they won this Test, they'd win the series, that would take them 33-32 up in Ashes series, which we thought was a good stat, and we actually found that, well, England did pretty well in the 19th century. It hasn't been so good since then.
Yeah, absolutely right. It was the 19th century we did well. Again, I mean, I think you can look at the fact that if we'd have been sitting here and England had been blown away for 210 all out, we wouldn't be going, well, that was a surprise.
No.
So the fact that they've got themselves to 305 for 4, what is that, where we finish?
Yes,
yeah, 305 for 4. The fact that they've got themselves there is, I think, it's a pleasant surprise. Credit to the two that have largely got them there. Obviously, credit as well, I think, to Mark Stoneman. Concerns, yes, about Alistair Cook. Is it his eyes and his general speed of reaction just not quite up to it, or is he just going through a bit of a patch?
And there's concerns about Joe Root as well, I think, with the extra pressure of the captaincy. Is it affecting his batting now?
Yeah, it didn't for a while, but it does sense, potentially now you sense it could be, yes.
I don't think it's actually affecting his batting. I think it's just that he's, he's having that problem, isn't he? The problem that remains of not being able to push on. You can get out in unfortunate circumstances. like he did today. You know, he was looking good. I think he'd got 20 from 17 balls, hadn't he? He was going along quite nicely.
And
He's just finding a way to get out at the moment. in a way.
Yeah, most batsmen would find a leg side strangler a particularly annoying way to get out, which of course is what he did.
But of course, when we lost him, we thought, oh my goodness, now all hope is gone. But, you know, Milan and Bairstow have batted really well. And so, and you know, players will only get confidence from doing this sort of thing, won't they? Milan, you know, he's coming in, you know, there's talk about is he really worth his place in the side. But I actually think he's actually grown as a Test player. Being a Test player has helped him grow as a player, I think. Really.
I think it has. I mean, he's had to man up. You know, he's had to face a lot of adversity this series.
Yeah, and he's also
he's come in at tricky times.
Man up, Milan up.
Milan up.
He's got to Milan up, indeed.
Well, I think he has, and I think it's great what he has done. I mean, we even saw it in the English summer. He wasn't. You know, everyone goes out and says play your natural game. Well, he wasn't playing his natural game because he was trying to stick in there at times, wasn't
curbing some of his instincts, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, when you see those shots, some of those shots that he's played, you have to say it's fantastic stuff. The Bear is a happy man. He comes in punching the air. Will he be so optimistic at 3 o'clock tomorrow? We shall see. We shall see. What I can tell you before you all go, and whatever you do, wherever you are,
we've got some tweets.
Well, all right. We'll do some tweets, but I want to alert you to the fact that on day 3 at Perth, after the cricket finishes, there'll be a lot of talk about cricket for a while, and then we will be piloting Guerilla Grandstand. Guerilla Grandstand. Remember that programme on the BBC? Grandstand.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again, and it's called Guerilla Grandstand, and it's not on television, it's on radio. David Brooke is going to host. We're going to have Will Buckley from The Observer is coming in. Steve Marsh, I believe, former Kent wicketkeeper, is coming in. We're going to take you through the afternoon of football, racing, and world darts. So that is something to look forward to. Guerilla expanding its reach across the universe, and hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. So don't forget, if you're listening to us on Saturday morning, as Chris Dealey makes his excuses and leaves, don't forget to hang on and listen to that if you like football, racing, and darts. And even if you don't, give it a listen anyway.
Not necessarily at the same time.
Not necessarily at the same time.
Not to play or
but
ride.
It'll be like, you know, a bit like Jeff Stelling, only without Jeff Stelling. It'll be with
unbelievable
David Brooke. Anyway, final tweets, and then we shall be on our way.
Good riddance to the Wacker says, glorious day. Isn't it glorious for the Guerilla Cricket gets to finally commentate on a dominant England day in Australia? Thanks, gents. Chris Stevens, a.k.a. at the lad from Oz, says, what's wrong with the Wacker? We get a drop-in pitch after this, to all our detriment.
I don't like drop-in pitches. I really don't like drop-in pitches. I'm going to put that out there.
Lee Wainwright says, taxiing out to runway from Kuala Lumpur, hopefully long enough to finish the day. Cheers for the comms today, traps.
I love it when people listen to us on planes. I love people listening to us on planes, flying around the globe. Brilliant.
Good riddance to the Wacker has a bit of a diatribe about...
Facebook?
Actually, the Wacker.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm going to skip over. Mog says, finally, you've had something positive to talk about today.
Yes.
From Mog.
Yes.
Abhishek Chopra says, no, I'm not getting excited. I have learnt my lesson. England all out for 350 tomorrow in the crucial first hour.
Don't do it. Oh, it's a crucial hour. We have to play the jingle tomorrow, the crucial first hour.
And our man in Kuala Lumpur, Steve Kellett, says, right, now, how are England going to fuck it up from here?
Well, there are so many ways. There are so many ways that England could fuck it up from here.
Banish all hope now.
We are doomed. Is Roy Pond been on to tell us how doomed we are?
No,
he hasn't.
And Knuckles come in with a stat. He says David Milan is the first England centurion with a W in his first name since Willie Watson's 163 versus the West Indies at Kingston in 1954.
That cannot be true.
Willie Watson.
What about Dawid Gower? What about Dawid Gower? I mean, that's Welsh all over, isn't it? Dawid and Gower, the Gower Peninsula. I know it's not spelt the same way.
And
Dawid Gower.
And Annie Cricket has joined us and says,
Annie Cricket.
And Jay Dernbach replying to Knackle with a W in his second name. What?
Oh, was he? Has he got? Is he Jade W Dernbach?
I think so.
Oh, maybe he is. There we go.
And that's up to date.
That's it. That's it for today. It's been a great day for England. 305 for 4. They've finished on. Don't forget Guerilla Grandstand on Saturday. Don't forget us tomorrow. Tell all your friends about Guerilla Cricket. Give money to us on patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket. But until tomorrow, it's goodbye from Jason.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Dave.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from the Bear.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Terry, who's gone. It's goodbye from Chris Dealey, who's gone. It's goodbye from Aaron, who's gone. It's goodbye from Mark, who came and went. It's goodbye from Tony.
Yes, goodbye.
It's goodbye from me, Guerilla Hendo. And it's time for the theme tune.
Good day, and now the time has come to smite the oldest enemy. We'll fight them at the Gabbatoir in Perth and at the MCG. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the Ashes insurgency. First they tried to lily us, but we would not be lilied. They threatened us with flies, so we threatened them with Lindsay, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Charlemagne, King of Spain, Viking Eric, Deadly Derek, Al Capone, Simon Jones, Guerilla.